Medicine here in Chicago is the senior researcher on this study.
We aim that electromagnet at parts of the brain that are involved in building memories, and we stimulate them for a number of days in a row.
He says that stimulation targeted parts of the brain that are essential for building memories about daily life events. Brain improvement lasted for about 24 hours after a patient underwent the non-invasive procedure. Chicago sports, Nicky Delmonico, Tim Anderson, Adam Engel, all homered, helping the White Sox top the Twins. 7-3 at Guaranteed Rate Field. Sox starter Carlos Rodon surrendered just 2 runs in 6 innings for the victory. Rodon's been sharp since June. Sox begin a 4-game set with the Tigers today. Chicago's James Shields opposing Detroit's Matthew Boyd. Cubs bats came alive in their 8-2 win over the Tigers at Comerica Park. Home runs for Bodie, Baez, and Rizzo for the Northsiders. Bears continue preparations for their 4th preseason game this Saturday against the Chiefs. Bears held a practice last night at Vernon Hills High School. The news service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA is a national nonprofit offering more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches, administrators, visit PCADevZone.org. 5:09, check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
President Trump creating some Russia investigation news of his own this week when he...
You can talk about the weather, but the weather didn't pull the trigger.
If the Democrats get in, they're going to raise your taxes. You're going to have crime all over the place. You're going to have people pouring across the border.
We all still share the same objective of making sure that Iran doesn't get deliverable nuclear weapons.
What happens next?
That's a beauty.
Happens here. This is AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson.
And Joe Walsh from MyPillow.
You're hearing from both of us because we've got 2 great MyPillow deals to tell you about.
And of course, because I'm the resident expert on the great night's sleep you're going to get with a MyPillow.
Is that why you sleep till noon every day, Joe?
Nice shot. Part of the reason. The other is because I'm not on the radio until the afternoon.
Lucky you. Well, I've got to get up early to do Chicago's Morning Answer, and I'm not sure I would get proper rest without MyPillow.
Hey, and I sleep even better with MyPillow because I added the MyPillow mattress topper to my bed. You got to get one. And when you buy the MyPillow mattress topper and use promo code Joe, you'll score 2 standard MyPillows for free.
For me, I love the MyPillow Go Anywhere pillow. So convenient. I suggest you use the promo code Amy. Buy 1 MyPillow and you'll get a second MyPillow plus 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows free.
Hey, either way, you're going to sleep like you never have before with MyPillow.
But definitely use promo code Amy.
Nah. Promo code Joe is the way better choice.
MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Promo code Joe is way better, way better.
Hey, honey, what's going on?
I was just logging in and checking on our account, and I thought we were going to do better this year.
I know. I've been trying to watch what I spend. No more stopping for coffee for me.
I don't think giving up coffee is going to do it. We need more income for our day-to-day, not to mention setting aside something for the kids' college and our retirement.
Man, I wish there was an answer.
For most of us, no one ever taught us how to invest, yet it's a skill that we all need. If you're looking to generate extra income, Online Trading Academy, the leader in financial education, can help. Attend one of Online Trading Academy's free introductory classes, and they'll show you how to create monthly, weekly, or even daily income using their patented supply and demand strategy. Plus, this month, they'll send you home with their free investor kit, loaded with guides to smarter investing and lessons from the pros just for attending. Register now by calling 888-984-TRADE, 888-984-8723, or OTAChicago.com, 888-984-TRADE, or OTAChicago.com.
5:11. Let's get an update on the early morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. On Chicago's south side at Hyde Park, Midway Plaisance has reopened between Ellis and Woodlawn after an earlier shooting investigation. You still have delays on the outbound Kennedy due to road construction. Heavy from Harlem to Cumberland. Right now, though, it's just about a 3 or 4 minute delay, and the inbound side is looking good. On the Stevenson at LaGrange Road, the on and off ramps going to and from southbound LaGrange Road have just reopened after overnight closures. Veterans Memorial Tollway southbound south of Finley, a crash is cleared. In Elgin, though, we have a crash which is blocking the 20 eastbound exit to State Street. Traffic, service of Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Very latest with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Full day of sunshine today with a high of 80. Clear early tonight, then clouds will increase with a low of 64. Tomorrow, breezy with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm during the day and again at night, high 71. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Let's give you that weekend forecast, too. Humid, warmer Saturday, time of clouds and sun, 94, and we'll be broiling on Sunday. High near 91, more clouds than sun, very hot and humid. 91 again, hot and humid with sunshine on Monday. Currently 61 at O'Hare, 66 along the lakefront, 54 this morning in Lansing, 52 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560,
This hourly
The Answer.
segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, Ann, and for Amy this morning. Chicago Tribune editorial board member Kristen McQuarrie. Kristen, good to have you back.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, thank you.
Make me a little nervous there.
No, well, the highway workers help so much. You know, the Kennedy down to one lane always helps to expedite things.
Ouch!
They added, too, it was nice, in addition to narrowing the Kennedy down to one lane, that's a main thoroughfare, if you're familiar with it.
I'm familiar, yes.
Yeah.
I took it as well, but I didn't hit that stretch of road construction
Well, that's
apparently
good.
because I was on time.
Well, you're also coming from, the godforsaken south side of the city.
That's true.
Yes, big difference. The other thing, which was nice, they added a big cloud of particulate matter that you could drive through after the lanes widen back out to
How are your
the
lungs?
full complement.
Lungs are okay?
Yeah, I think at
had
the
the
rate of
Batmobile.
speed I was driving, I think I may have sheared off some of my paint job.
Okay.
But other than that. Okay, all right. So let's get into the big show. A question for you. Which do you think is oilier, Crisco or Lanny Davis?
Oh, man.
Lanny Davis yesterday making the rounds on the morning talk shows and then the afternoon talk shows. Lanny Davis flacking for his client, Michael Cohen. And as many have remarked, the only lawyer in the universe perhaps worse than Michael Cohen is Lanny Davis. But the best, by far, was his appearance on Megyn Kelly. And it was a great get by Megyn Kelly because it's difficult. He did it a remote. And it's difficult to set up a reliable remote, in the sewer in which Lanny Davis resides. So
Right. Technical difficulties.
There's no question. So hat tip to Megyn Kelly. Now, he started off by saying, look, the last thing that Michael Cohen would ever accept, it is beneath him. Don't even mention the P word, pardon.
Not only is he not hoping for, he would not accept a pardon. He considers a pardon from somebody who has acted so corruptly as president to be something he would never accept.
Too much integrity.
I mean, I can't even believe people take him seriously. He's talking about Cohen, who's been Trump's lawyer since like the early 2000s, and been involved in all kinds of sleazeball activities with this guy. So you didn't even get to the best part, though. So
no, the best part is when he makes a plea on Megyn Kelly's show for his client. He's trying to rebuild his life. Show some heart, America.
Could I just take one opportunity to remind everyone that Michael Cohen has suffered a tragic and difficult experience with his family. He's without resources, and we've set up a website called michaelcohentruth.com that we're hoping that he will get some help from the American people so he can continue to tell the truth.
The audience is they don't know if you're ready to donate, Lanny, but we did check before we went to air. It's got $70,000 in it so far. And listen, we appreciate you coming on.
I would say the reaction of your audience may be that they're not as interested in getting the truth out about Donald Trump as many other people in the country. Approximately 60% of the country would not have the reaction of your audience.
Okay. By the way, I overstated. It's 20,000. It's not 70,000. But, you know, for Cohen's, hope springs eternal, I guess.
Oh, man.
19 of that's from Lanny.
I mean, I almost thought it was fake news when I saw this clip. I'm like, there's no way that they're starting a GoFundMe page out of sympathy for Michael Cohen, who is without resource and now needs the help of the American people.
He has suffered a tragedy, Kristen.
Oh, man.
Bank fraud befell him.
I have tears coming out of my eyes. This is just complete hilarity.
Yeah, that's Lanny Davis. That's, the nice thing is, much like the Clintons, Lanny Davis doesn't go away. Everything around the Clintons doesn't seem to go away. We can't extricate it from our politics. You got Clinton Foundation Donor Zero's got his show. I mean, Paul Begala's sort of gone away, which is nice.
Yeah.
He's sort of disappeared, which is nice. But, they're always around wherever there is a human tragedy, like somebody committing bank fraud. Lanny Davis and the Clintons will be there.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Beautiful day today. Here's your weather forecast. High of 80 degrees. Clear early and increasing clouds with a low of 64. Tomorrow, breezy and cooler with a couple of showers and possible thunderstorms. So enjoy the beautiful weather today, and let's get a check of the roads with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Kristen. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. And if you think that outbound Kennedy's bad, Dan, get ready for Lake Shore Drive starting next Monday. Lake Shore Drive is going to be down to 2 lanes in both directions between Monroe and LaSalle, so right in your neck of the woods. And this is, we're told, necessary to get resurfacing done in time for the Chicago Marathon October 6th. That's going to cause some major issues starting next Monday. But for now, it's the outbound Kennedy, which is problematic. Not as bad as it was a while back or an hour or so ago, but it's still stop and go Harlem to Cumberland. You're looking at about a 3-minute delay. On the inbound side of the Rhine, getting a little congestion approaching downtown. Outbound, prepare to slow down between 87th and the Split. Got road work in the 3 left lanes till 6 this morning. Traffic's light, but it's a work zone, and so speeds are reduced. Tollways are good right now. No problems to report in northwest Indiana. You have an exit closure in Elgin. The ramp from eastbound 20, Lake Street to State, that's closed right now. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Dr. Bob Arnott for Salonpas. I'm training for the world's most grueling paddleboard race. 32 miles of open ocean, high winds and surf. Naturally, I get a lot of muscle pain. 50 years in medicine has taught me what to look for in a pain reliever. Powerful, targeted, non-addictive, and available without a prescription. I found it in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus. It has 2 powerful anesthetics that numb nerves right where it hurts. Salonpas gives me relief.
Live from Chicago, it's Saturday Night Live, The Experience. For the first time ever, get an inside look at the making of SNL. Over 500 artifacts direct from the show. Be a part of Wayne's World, Weekend Update, and so much more. Experience all it takes to put the show together. Now at the Museum of Broadcast Communications at 360 North State Street in Chicago. For tickets, visit museum.tv.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can
Call Grumweedy.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crumweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy,
Call Grumweedy.
That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
You dread the sound of your cell phone buzzing with unknown caller. It's probably your mortgage company calling about your overdue payments again. Maybe you found yourself in a difficult financial situation due to hardship, and now it seems like your world is falling apart. Your home is on its way to foreclosure.
Foreclosure is not your only option. I'm Angela Sikors Epstein of ATC Mitigation Services. We're a company that specializes in short sales, a way to satisfy your loan with the bank and avoid foreclosure. Although other real estate professionals can handle short sales, they just don't have the experience and knowledge of the process like our mitigation company. We'll work with your mortgage lender to get their approval for a short sale. You can even list your property through a preferred realtor.
A short sale can help you avoid the pain and hassle of foreclosure and will stop those dreaded phone calls. Call ATC Mitigation at 630-517-8510 and hear about the benefits of a short sale. If you're on the verge of losing your home, call today or go to easyshortsales.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Kristen McQuarrie in for Amy J. And Kristen, you are a parent of actual children. I a parent of fictional children.
That is correct.
I'm not going to say who's got the more difficult job, but I don't have exposure to incidents like what happened in Wilmette. The Chicago Tribune reporting. It still publishes? No, nothing. 8-year-old.
I was going to do something vulgar, but it wouldn't. The listening audience wouldn't be able to see it, so they wouldn't appreciate it.
Wilmette mom being investigated for letting her 8-year-old walk the dog around the block. Mm-hmm. Is that against the law in Wilmette or in the Chicago area?
Apparently, it made somebody nervous.
How old do you have to be allowed to walk your dog?
I think 23.
That's fair.
I think that's what it is.
If you're on your parents' insurance, you cannot walk the dog by yourself. Just after returning home from a walk around the block with her dog, Marshmallow.
It's Marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
That's how marshmallow is spelled.
I know.
Okay. We'll pronounce it
like
a normal person.
I like pronouncing it that way. Like that singer, Marshmallow.
I am familiar, yes.
Yeah.
Because my actual children and your fantasy children are familiar with that artist.
Right. I have the same musical taste as your children, is what you're saying.
That's correct.
So Marshmallow. It's fun. It's more fun to say that way.
No.
I never get to say that word. When does that word come up? When you're talking about s'mores?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
So she's walking her dog, and she was greeted by police officers who came to the family's door. An anonymous caller, of course. It's the North Shore. God forbid anybody put their name on anything.
Yeah.
The courage of the Champagne Socialists in Wilmette. Anonymous caller contacts police after seeing the girl walking the dog alone, said her mother, Corey Wyden. Police never pursued charges. Great restraint. It did launch, however, a DCFS investigation to see if Wyden was neglecting her children.
Yes. I think this is probably automatic, that police officers have to be they have to be reporters. What's the word? Mandated reporters. So
Yeah.
they had to contact DCFS because they got this call. So then this mother has to go through a DCFS caseworker showing up at her house, interviewing her. I mean, how humiliating. And by the way, do you think DCFS has anything else on its plate to worry about, like actual cases of abused and neglected children being left home alone? I just wrote an editorial about a little foster boy, 3 years old, died in a house fire because there was no adult in the home, or there was one and she left when the fire started. I mean, there are real issues that DCFS is dealing with. And they're going to send caseworkers to this woman's house. That is insane.
Over this issue, too.
Over this issue.
Right. I mean, it's not like this was just, hey, you got to go to the Wyden home. No, it's here's what happened. That's why you have to go to the Wyden home and launch this investigation. The Wyden, who's 48 years old, she agreed to let her 8-year-old daughter and 17-year-old son get the Maltese puppy last year as long as everyone took turns walking her. You know, something like a normal family does, right?
Yes.
To teach the kids responsibility if you want a pet.
She wasn't walking the dog along the tri-state. She was walking the dog around the block.
She also said she can see out her windows the girls walk around the block.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is, I'm a joke with my friends because my kids are around me all the time. Well, I'm sorry, Miss Wyden, that's not good enough.
She's a homeschooler. So, I mean, she really is. This is the child who is in her care and under her supervision all day.
Could you pick a worse target for all of this nonsense? I'll tell you, what do you think? Should Corey Wyden's children be taken from her? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line. Now, I don't want to preordain the outcome of this investigation. You know, I want to let the facts lead wherever they lead. And DCFS, these are professionals, draw their own conclusions about the safety of the environment for kids at the Wyden home in Wilmette.
Did you see some of the other examples, though? And I remember this being a big story where a woman who lived in Ukrainian Village sent her 5, 11, and a 9-year-old cousin to a park nearby, and someone at the park called the police because they were unsupervised.
Right.
5, 11, and 9. And she could see them. She was in an apartment where she was checking on them, doing some housekeeping, checking on them. And I mean, that became a serious DCFS inquiry. There was another case of a Tinley Park mother who left her sleeping toddler in a parked car outside a store just to walk up to the kettle to drop money in the Salvation Army kettle with another child, you know, demonstrate some good charity driven around the Christmas season. Somebody called the cops on her. She was standing at the kettle.
Hey, busybodies, and, you know, if you see something, use common sense before you say something.
There we go.
I think we need to infuse that use common sense phrase in between see something and say something, that mantra. All right, coming up, we'll return to conversation about Michael Cohen and whether he's got more goods on Trump as it relates to Russian collusion. Lanny Davis says so. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
60 degrees. We have fair skies this morning. 5:31 and a knife attack being investigated in Paris. One person dead, 4 severely hurt. The suspect had reportedly been on a terror watch list since 2016, and that attacker, according to Paris police, was shot and killed. Authorities in Hawaii preparing for Hurricane Lane. It's a monster storm this morning, and police and hurricane specialists say they're worried about residents ignoring warnings of high surf and high winds. Those trying to get photos and video at the beach as the hurricane blows in. Cassidy Penny is with the American Red Cross.
Well, after a disaster, American Red Cross focuses on providing a safe shelter for people, food, emergency relief supplies, emotional support, health services.
So Penny says they're staging right now for the after effects of Hurricane Lane, a Category 4 storm, winds 145 miles an hour. A juror in the trial of former Trump campaign chief Paul Manafort says a single holdout kept the jury from convicting him on all charges. Ohio State Buckeye football coach Urban Meyer in hot water and suspended for mishandling abuse allegations.
Suspensions are tough, but I fully accept them. I wish I could go back and make the different decisions, but I can't.
Ohio State trustees met yesterday and suspended Meyer for 3 games to punish him for mishandling claims that a former assistant was abusing his wife. The State Department this morning warning travelers about violence in Mexico. New travel advisory says people from the U.S. should not travel to several states in Mexico, including places around the popular tourist destinations of Mazatlan, Acapulco, and extreme caution should be exercised in Cancun. Here in Chicago, 1 man is dead following a shooting and crash near the University of Chicago campus. And Jim Talamonte will have an update on traffic developments along Midway Plaisance in just a moment. Former mayor of Ford Heights is accused of stealing over $100,000 from the village. Charles Griffin was arrested yesterday on felony theft and misconduct charges. And this morning there is a NASA intern, a highly sought-out job. She's out of a job because of something she said on Twitter. According to Newsweek magazine this morning, a woman calls herself Naomi H. used foul language in a tweet about her new internship at NASA. A former NASA engineer, Homer Hickam, saw that post, warned her that the space agency might not appreciate her choice of words, and apparently Naomi responded to the former NASA engineer with an even more vulgar tweet. This morning, NASA has pulled the internship offer. Chicago sports, Nicky Delmonico, Tim Anderson, Adam Engel hammer home runs. Sox topped the Twins 7-3. Combats finally came alive in an 8-2 win over the Tigers at Comerica Park. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. Help change the future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 534, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher calls out the never-Trumpers.
They are so crazed, consumed with their personal hatred of this man that they don't care what happens to the country. They don't care what happens in terms of policy. They don't care what happens in terms of anything that has been achieved in the nearly 2 years that Donald Trump's been president. They are unglued.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
5:35 on AM 560. It is time for a dry basement and a healthy home, and time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Midway Plaisance, Midway, Hyde Park is open again entirely between Ellis and Woodlawn. After that earlier shooting and investigation, everything is open again now in Hyde Park. Outbound Kennedy, not so wide open. It is stop-and-go traffic from Austin to Harlem. There's still construction. This was supposed to clear at 5, but the construction is still in place and the delays are still there. It's about 26 minutes from downtown to O'Hare. Inbound fine at 20 minutes. Edens looks good. The Eisenhower as well. Inbound Stevenson, we're seeing slow pockets from Clarendon Hills Road to 83 and from Harlem to Kedzie. 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Gone right, about a 3-minute delay, Cermak into the Burns Circle. Bishop Ford, 5-minute delay, 111th to the Merge. Tollways are okay. We'll have heavy traffic around Wrigley Field tonight with Cubs at home, and also heavy traffic in Rosemont. We've got a concert at Allstate Arena and a Chicago Dogs baseball game. Traffic service of Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Use your power to cure and pedal with a purpose at Spin 4 Crohn's and Colitis Cures. Grab some friends to join you for this high-energy indoor cycling event benefiting the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Visit spin4.org to learn more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
5:36. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Beautiful day ahead. Sunshine and a high near 80. Clear early, then clouds on the increase overnight, low 64. A couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm on tap for tomorrow and a high of 71. Currently 60 at O'Hare, 52 in Aurora. And your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for me this morning is Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board. And, I mean, we have to get back to Lanny Davis because he's just too entertaining. I can't stop enjoying Lanny Davis. I hope he never goes away. But first, we were talking about this woman who had a DCFS investigation opened on her for allowing her daughter to walk the dog around the block in Wilmette. Not kidding. Cindy and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Hi, Krista. I just really think this obviously is a petty situation, but I think the mom that called in, or let's just say the individual that called in to DCFS, there's probably some little feud going on in the neighborhood, like maybe somebody got a new Lamborghini, and, maybe somebody got a new fur coat for the fall fashion.
Yeah.
Or the kids are feuding. Maybe one of the kids, got their braces off early. I don't know.
Exactly.
Dueling lemonade
Something
stands.
so ridiculous.
Well, very well done, Cindy. Thank you for the call. You've really got your finger on the pulse of Wilmette. There's no question
I don't know
about that.
Lamborghini, though. I'd probably go with like a,
like a 5 Series. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's understandable. It's tough to keep up with the Joneses out there. You got to do what you got to do
You got
to get
take
your
them
kid
down.
ahead.
You got to call the cops.
Yeah.
You got to take her down.
Your kid's going to beat my kid in anything. Your kid's going to be taken by the state.
Yeah.
That's my trump card. Okay.
All right.
They play rough up there on the North Shore. All right, so back to Lanny Davis. Lanny Davis, when he wasn't pleading for money for Michael Cohen after this tragedy that has befallen him.
By the way, I have to interject. Michael Cohen's net worth in June, according to like celebritynet.com, $100 million. That's his net worth. But he's destitute, and he's starting a GoFundMe page. So you go ahead. I'm going to enter my credit card and give him a little money to help him with his legal fees.
Although, just to play devil's advocate, if he would lie about $14 million in debt on to a bank, he'd probably lie to celebrity.net about his net worth.
Okay. Well, they based it on his taxi medallion business and what he was accruing from that. But I think that's kind of gone downhill.
Yeah.
So, all right. So it's less than $100 million.
Yeah. I think probably by the end of this, he will have next to nothing. It seems to me his whole life is a fraud. And so probably he's living beyond his means. And usually that comes crashing down around
until
you.
he writes his book and he does like the Comey book tour,
Sure.
and he gets all the anti-Trumpers to come to his side.
Well, that's true, right? Until he becomes, he thinks he's John Dean, I think.
Yes.
But I don't think it's going to work out quite the same way. We'll see. Lanny Davis, by the way, not sure. I don't know. Maybe you're in the news business. Has he stopped cyber stalking Morgan Fairchild yet? I haven't kept track.
Are we sure that's him?
Do you remember that story?
No, I don't actually.
Where he thought he was direct messaging Morgan Fairchild on Twitter, but he wasn't. He was just tweeting for public view, and he was like flirting.
No.
He was trying to flirt with Morgan Fairchild.
What was he saying? I'm looking this up now.
He was saying, "I could get you a GoFundMe page." I'll go on the No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't remember what he was saying.
But he was
Lanny
openly
Davis.
tweeting, thinking that he was privately messaging.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
He seems like he just would smell of formaldehyde. So I'm just not sure if is he real? Is he a real person, or is this like a Weekend at Bernie's type situation where he's stuffed with different things? And
Well, I've only spoken to him on the radio, so remotely. We've talked to him a million times.
You have?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's like so impossible to interview. It very much like Megyn Kelly had to endure. He'll slither onto the phone, and he does this. He does a filibuster, and then if you interrupt him, please, I let you finish. I let you ask your question. Now, please let me answer. Please, can we set the and then he'll just obsess about it. Can we set the ground rules? We're going to let each other finish. And then if I make some smart aleck remark about, look, I didn't personally attack you. Let's avoid the name calling. Let's have a civil. It's just when you want to reach through the microphone and strangle him, which I'm sure Megyn Kelly wanted to do yesterday, although it was just too much fun he was providing for her audience for her to want to do that.
The ending, I can see how he worked. I mean, he worked into that interview a way to try to raise money for his client and essentially raise money for himself to get his legal bills paid. I mean, that was just. I
understand.
That is applause-worthy.
You don't have to beg. I'll play the clip again.
Could I just take one opportunity to remind everyone that Michael Cohen has suffered a tragic and difficult experience with his family. He's without resources, and we've set up a website called michaelcohentruth.com that we're hoping that he will get some help from the American people so he can continue to tell the truth.
I mean, I tell you, it's better than a Seinfeld laugh track.
It kind of restores my faith in humanity, actually, that they laughed
they
and
get the
thought
joke.
that it was totally ridiculous.
No, when Laney Davis wasn't supplicating himself for cash for, as you point out, himself, he was suggesting other things, like if he wasn't the President of the United States, Donald Trump would be indicted and jailed.
We didn't adjudicate anything.
Yeah, well, that's not it, but that's what he said. He also made the suggestion that there is more that Michael Cohen has to say that Special Counsel Mueller would be interested to hear.
There's certain things you do that influence an election that are legal. Certain things.
No, that's not it either. Okay, well, effort.
You just play Lanny Davis.
Scores. Yeah.
The buttons are hard this morning.
We'll have to work on that. The interesting piece in The Hill by Mark Penn, he talks about this plea deal as the prosecutor's attempt to set up Trump. Why was Michael Cohen investigated in the first place? Because the Steele dossier had him making secret trips to meet with Russians that never happened. So his business dealings got a thorough scrubbing, and in the process, he fell into the Paul Manafort bin reserved for the special counsel for squeezing the juice until it comes out. Or squeezing until the juice comes out. We're back in 1998 all over again with presidents and candidates covering up their alleged marital misdeeds and prosecutors trying to turn legal acts into illegal ones by inventing new crimes. This is the position that Dershowitz has taken as well. Alan Dershowitz was on MSNBC also trying to get a word in edgewise yesterday, making the case that if the president knowingly paid hush money through his attorney, not a crime.
Here's the issue. The president is entitled to pay hush money to anyone he wants during a campaign. There are no restrictions on what a candidate can contribute to his own campaign. So if, in fact, the president directed Cohen to do it as his lawyer and was going to compensate him for it, the president committed no crime. If Cohen did it on his own, then Cohen committed the crime.
All right, so since she so rudely interrupted the fungible MSNBC host, Dershowitz had to try and explain his position to her one more time.
The president doesn't break the law if, as a candidate, he contributes to his own campaign. So if he gave $1 million to two women as hush money, there would be no crime. If he directed his lawyer to do it and he would compensate the lawyer, he's committed no crime. The only crime is if a third party, namely Cohen, on his own contributed to a campaign. That would be a campaign contribution. So it's a catch-22 for the prosecution. If they claim that the president authorized him to do it or directed him to do it, it's not a crime for anybody. If Cohen did it on his own, then it's a crime for Cohen, but not the president.
I feel like we're not exploring enough the issue of whether or not this even qualifies as a campaign-related expense. I'm still struggling with that. I do not see this private money exchange between, yes, it in some ancillary way, it benefited his campaign, but that would raise the standard as to what is a campaign donation or what is a campaign fund expenditure that I have ever been aware of. So do you really believe that this qualifies as a campaign expenditure that should have been reported as what, an in-kind?
I think there are credible arguments to make both ways, because I'm not an FEC law expert, but I have some familiarity with it, and it's a little hazy. The idea campaign related is not laid out in some exhaustive list. There are things that are obvious, right? Paid campaign communications,
Sure.
a TV
Rent,
ad or a mail
yes.
piece,
Mhm.
rent for an office, staff, right? But there are some things that are less obvious. And of course, then you can't use, there's also things, as Duncan Hunter is finding out, you can't use campaign funds for, right? Jesse Jackson, Sandy Jackson found out you can't use. So this is sort of a gray area. Is it campaign related? Was it intended to influence the outcome of the campaign? That's why Michael Cohen said it was, and that was the whole purpose for the scheme that was concocted. And the argument, although it's not an argument that Trump has made because he hasn't sort of admitted to the underlying facts or the underlying alleged facts. So I think there's a credible case that you can make. Now remember, John Edwards is probably the closest case to this with respect to campaign finance. He was indicted.
He was, but he was not convicted.
Right, acquitted on one count, jury deadlocked on the other charges.
But that was even so. He used he said, yes, I was paying my mistress. I was trying to cover this up to protect my family. It had less to do with politics than it did protecting my family. I think Trump could make the same argument. And in fact, I think the timing of it, yes, of course, they made these payments in October, right before the election. But they had also tried to shut her up a long time ago. And I'm sure there's probably a trail of him doing that in the past, which you won't want to talk about, but which will make his case that this was not a campaign-related expense. Let me give you one example. So Bruce Rauner recently gave $100,000 of his own money to Willie Wilson's foundation.
Yeah.
Does that, in effect, help his campaign? Of course it does. He did it now. He did it during campaign season. He's trying to win some sympathy with those voters. So should that have been recorded as like some sort of in-kind benefit to his campaign? I mean, that seems to be the standard.
Well,
that
it's
we're
also
at
a 501. Gave it to a 501c3.
Right, but it's his own private money giving to a private donation. In this case, it was private money going to a private person. And we're kind of overlaying this with campaign finance law. An FEC regulation says that you can only be considered a campaign-related expense if it would not have been otherwise made, but for the campaign.
Right, and this is sort of a he said matter to be adjudicated unless. And this was asked of Lanny Davis, and he presented no additional evidence other than what Michael Cohen said in his allocution, which is to say, do you have evidence where President Trump said, I'm instructing you to do this because we need to keep this quiet until after the election, give some kind of indication that this was driven by the exigencies of the election and the campaigin.
I know.
And Lanny Davis did not have anything more to add to that. So to your point.
I still think even under those circumstances, it's really a stretch to make that a reportable contribution. That's what we're talking about, paperwork, making sure that shows up somewhere on his FEC D2s, are they D2s at the federal level? But
FEC filings, yeah.
FEC filings.
But the campaign disclosure reports. So I think there's a credible argument. I mean, this was the discussion we got into yesterday, and Mark Levin has been on this as well as Dershowitz saying there's no crime here. A crime is not a crime. Truth is not the truth. A crime is not a crime. Even though Cohen pled guilty to it. So here's the thing: federal prosecutors think that there is a crime. Michael Cohen, whatever the motivation was, and there's questions about his motivation, I understand, he pled guilty to these campaign finance-related crimes. And so it does set up two schools of thought, and I think there's a credible case that can be made in the alternative to say it was a campaign-related expense. It was for the purpose of keeping Stormy Daniels quiet and keeping her to abide the kind of the original back and forth of their non-disclosure agreement. And so at minimum, he can pay the money, but he has to report it. And so at minimum, it was a willful failure to disclose. That's an argument I think that you can attempt to make out, and prosecutors may. Although the idea of taking down the President of the United States over this and something this complicated and this ancillary, I think politically is very dangerous for Democrats, which is why you had Nancy Pelosi say yesterday impeachment's not on the table.
Well, right. I think for all of them. I mean, do you know a single member of Congress who hasn't gotten slapped on the wrist or filed something incorrectly or had the FEC look at their paperwork or had an opponent file a complaint with the FEC over their paperwork. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of members of Congress getting extremely nervous if this is the new standard.
Well, right. And the John Edwards case, I think he got a $2.3 million fine by the FEC for his campaign finance failures. Barack Obama mentioned yesterday, 1,300 donors not disclosed, $1.8 million. They fined him $375,000, his presidential campaign, the FEC. So usually the failure to disclose, to run afoul of the reporting requirements results in a fine.
Well, unless you're Jesse Jackson Jr. and you're literally taking the money out of your fund, spending it on furs.
Right, that's a different thing.
Right.
Because it's not only a campaign finance issue, it's an income tax issue. Right. Greg in Schaumburg.
Good morning, Christian and Dan. I'm going to ask you this question, but this first question is going to be, when are we going to show up? There are so many transactions that the Democrats have done, including placing plants within the campaign, and we're just not on the board. When Pelosi makes the statement that impeachment is not on the table, give me a break. As soon as they get one more in person that they can pull off anything, they're going to do it. And I just wonder when we're going to show up.
All right, thanks for the call, Greg. Tony on the South Side.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Kristen. Listen, doesn't Lanny Davis, hauntingly sounds like one of the Jerky Boys when he's talking about going to GoFundMe page. I was waiting for him to say something like, we're going to sue Donald Trump for punitive damages that he's causing my client now.
Yes.
It's crazy. I love it.
Oh boy, I really did it this time. Okay, then. I'll come in with my nub.
Well, I'm asking you for help, and maybe I could sue for punitive damages that you're giving me.
I'm giving you?
Yes.
Me?
Yes.
What'd I do to you?
Well, punitive damages here.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Have you heard about New Life Church Cadets? New Life Church Cadets is a Christian club for boys grades 2 through 8th in New Lenox, Illinois. They also have clubs in the south and southwest suburbs of Chicago, as well as northwest Indiana. In Cadets, boys discover who God is and how He works in their lives and in the world by learning and doing through Bible lessons, merit badge work, crafts, service projects, Pine Car Derby, and camping. Cadets is a part of the Calvinist Cadet Corps, a non-denominational organization whose goal is to help boys grow more Christ-like in all areas of life by providing Christian men to act as leaders and mentors, working alongside the boys. To learn more, visit newlifenewlenox.org or call 815-462-0202. In today's culture, where males take a beating for being what God created them to be, New Life Church Cadets celebrates the male and shows boys how to become Christ-like men.
I see on your resume that you're a nature leader.
Yep.
I think you mean natural leader.
Nope. Nature leader. I volunteer with the Forest Preserves of Cook County.
Oh.
With 70,000 acres, they need all the helping hands they can get.
I love nature. Can I volunteer?
Of course. When can you start?
To learn more, visit fpdcc.com. Sponsored by the Forest Preserves of Cook County and aired in cooperation with the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
5:57. Let's get an update on the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're still seeing delays on the outbound Kennedy after overnight construction. It's heavy Austin to Harlem, and it's 26 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound 22 at Site Cumberland and Canfield. Eden's still okay. Eisenhower inbound delays start at Wolf. 37 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 29. Mount Stevenson, 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 5 to 34. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 24 minutes, 8094 to the Verge. Seeing delays on the northbound tri-state from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower and from the Bensonville Bridge to Lawrence. Traffic, service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Use your power to cure and pedal with a purpose. Spin for Crohn's and Colitis Cures. Grab friends to join you. This high-energy indoor cycling event benefiting the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Visit spin4.org to learn more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but first, your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sunny day today, high 80, clouds increase tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, breezy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 71. Then a shower or thunderstorm around at night, remaining humid, low 67. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
60 at O'Hare this morning, 52 in Aurora. The news, a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. Now, you can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. And Fox this morning is following a knife attack in Paris that has left one person dead and 4 injured. Here in Chicago, one man is dead following a shooting and crash near the University of Chicago campus. Former mayor of Fort Heights in hot water, accused of stealing over $100,000 from the Village. Charles Griffin was arrested yesterday. Formal charges are pending against a man whose 2 young sons died after they were pulled from the Kankakee River in northwest Indiana. Bail is denied for a man accused of killing a Chicago nursing student earlier this year. White Sox over the Twins 7-3 at Guaranteed Rate Field, while the Cubs bats finally come alive in an 8-2 win over the Tigers at Comerica Park. A beautiful day ahead with sunshine. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
No collusion, rigged witch hunt. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The president tweeting that at 1:10 a.m. He's spoken to Fox about his former attorney's guilty plea implicating the president in campaign finance violations. Meantime, Fox's Rachel Sutherland's live in D.C.
Chris, President Trump says he did not direct his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to make payments to women who claim to have had affairs with him, and he told Fox and Friends,
"They didn't come out of the campaign. They came from me."
Telling Ainsley Earhart there were no campaign finance violations.
That could be a little dicey, and they didn't come out of the campaign, and that's big.
The president said he found out about the payments after they were made. Cohen released secret tapes, he said, of himself and the president discussing the payments. Chris?
Rachel, thanks. A lawyer for the suspect in Molly Tibbetts' murder in Iowa denies he was in the country illegally, as prosecutors claim. The farm where he works says he used a fake name and ID. Police say Christian Rivera confessed to the murder. Molly Tibbetts was missing for a month before Rivera led police to the body. Hurricane Lane's already a Category 4 storm. It could be the most powerful one to hit Hawaii since 1992. The latest from Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
Hawaii's governor has requested a presidential disaster declaration ahead of the storm, and a few minutes ago the president approved that. National Weather Service meteorologist Gavin Shigesato is with the Central Pacific Hurricane Center in Hawaii. He says the storm's eye is not expected to make landfall, but it could still do some damage.
It's going to be passing dangerously close to the islands, and with this, there's a threat for prolonged heavy rainfall, life-threatening flash flooding and landslides in some cases.
FEMA has already got barges with food, water, and supplies ready to go in the region, Chris.
Tanya, man shot and killed by police in Trappes, France. He'd killed his mother and sister with a knife, seriously injuring another woman passing by. No word on a motive, but the man had been flagged by French authorities as a suspected Muslim radical. Fox News, fair and balanced.
President Trump creating some Russia investigation news of his own this week when he...
You can talk about the weather, but the weather didn't pull the trigger.
If the Democrats get in,
They're going to raise your taxes. You're going to have crime all over the place. You're going to have people pouring across the border.
We all still share the same objective of making sure that Iran doesn't get deliverable nuclear weapons.
What happens next?
That's a beauty.
Happens here. This is AM 560. The Answer.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2018 EcoSport. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 60 months at $1,667 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 8/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Supporting veterans is our passion. That's why we support Veteran Roasters, a Chicago coffee roaster that hires homeless and chronically unemployed veterans. If you'd like to help create jobs for homeless veterans, visit veteranroasters.com and purchase a 12-ounce bag of coffee roasted and ground by once homeless and unemployed veterans. The coffee's delicious, and the profits are reinvested in hiring additional homeless veterans. Use promo code Team Hochberg to save 50% off the second bag you purchase. If you're a veteran securing a VA loan and would like to work with a local lender who supports veterans, call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MUELLER, CPA.com.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher stated, "Socialist governments traditionally do make a financial mess. They always run out of other people's money. That sure rings true in America."
I know you support companies that share your conservative values. For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, from experienced quality control and quality assurance engineers to top validation and compliance experts. Depend on Automated Systems. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems, toll-free 844-HIRE-ASI, or visit automatedsys.com. Hey, join the Heartland Institute and me on Friday, October 26th for the 34th anniversary benefit dinner at the Cotillion in Palatine. I will be your MC, and the featured speaker will be Judge Andrew Napolitano from the Fox News Channel. Judge Napolitano is nationally known for watching and reporting on the government, and his no-holds-barred, hard-hitting commentary on government overreach and the abuse of our rights. Register today to reserve your VIP tickets or a whole table and meet Judge Napolitano. His important and unforgettable speech will be on the Constitution and human freedom. Also be there to help celebrate the lives of two people who have dedicated their lives to advancing liberty. Heartland Liberty Prize winners Joe Bast, the co-founder and former president of the Heartland Institute, and his wife, Diane. Don't be held in contempt. Join the Heartland Institute and me, Judge Napolitano, on Friday, October 26th at the Cotillion in Palatine. For tickets or information, call 312-377-4000 or visit heartland.org. That's 312-377-4000 or heartland.org. I'll see you there.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And it for Amy J this morning, Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board member. And this story that has been subordinated to the Michael Cohen plea deal and the Manafort convictions. Molly Tibbetts, the young woman who was murdered in Iowa apparently by a person in this country illegally. The government's not sure how long. Sheriff's office said, 4 to 7 years?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Molly Tibbetts' family released a statement yesterday. Our hearts are broken on behalf of Molly's entire family. We thank all of those from around the world who've sent their thoughts and prayers for our girl. We know that many of you will join us as we continue to carry Molly in our hearts forever. The family also asked for time to process their loss, so they remain forever grateful for the outpouring of support they've received since Molly went missing. Her brother, Scott, also tweeted out her favorite quote. He said, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light, be somebody's light today." 24-year-old Christian Bahena Rivera, illegal immigrant, was arrested on first-degree murder on Tuesday, I should say. And President Trump is sort of refocusing some attention on border security and immigration policy. He cut a little 15-second vignette that I assume the White House would like to see moved around the country, particularly in swing seats by Republican congressional candidates.
Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats want to abolish the brave men and women of ICE. What I want to do is abolish the killers in ISIS. And you know who's going to win? We are.
Okay. Mark Stein had a good piece at his site about the priorities of U.S. justice. Per MSNBC, Molly Tibbetts is, quote, "some girl in Iowa Fox News is talking about," unquote. That is what MSNBC said about Fox after the Cohen plea was announced. Stein writes, "because as the pajama boys at Mediaite will tell you, only racist fearmongers are boorish enough to make a fuss about homicidal illegal aliens. It's no surprise that a bureaucracy that can't deport a Nazi in 14 years cannot reliably inform its citizens just how long Molly Tibbetts' killer has been in the country. That's why Trump got elected. Not just the murderers, but the media diversity commissars telling you you're not allowed to notice the murderers." He makes the point that Nazi that was deported, 94 years old, was living in New York.
Mm-hmm.
The deportation order on him was issued in 2004.
Yeah. There was a. I'm just trying to verify whether it was actually true, but I think the hard copy of the New York Times yesterday had no coverage of Molly Tibbetts. Zero.
Elizabeth Warren covered it. She went on CNN. She was asked about it. Here's what your 2020 Democrat nominee for President of the United States had to say.
I'm so sorry for the family here, and I know this is hard, not only for the family, but for the people in her community, the people throughout Iowa. But one of the things we have to remember is we need an immigration system that is effective, that focuses on where real problems are. Last month, I went down to the border, and I saw where children had been taken away from their mothers. I met with those mothers who had been lied to, who didn't know where their children were, who hadn't had a chance to talk to their children. And there was no plan for how they would be reunified with their children. I think we need immigration laws that focus on people who pose a real threat. And I don't think mamas and babies are the place that we should be spending our resources.
So is Elizabeth Warren right? The real tragedy in the Molly Tibbetts case is the family separation policy at the border. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. We've got to focus where our immigration system has a problem. It's not with violent criminals who are here illegally who murders a 20-year-old girl out for a jog. That's not where we have a problem. We have a problem with the family separation policy that's been enforced for the last 3 administrations.
Mamas and babies.
She's an Oklahoma girl, Kristen.
Right, I know. I forget. So I'm glad she reminds me every once in a while with that slang.
Straight out of a John Steinbeck novel.
It's so authentic. I mean, I just really felt it in my heart. I mean, can you just for a moment when you're asked this question, you know this question is coming, can you just take a moment and talk about this tragedy? Do you have to pivot and make it about Trump and make it about the separation policy? Can you just offer some actual authentic sympathy for this family?
That would require being an actual human being.
I know. She's not.
These are Westworld characters.
I get it.
Minus the kind of AI intelligence and skill sets.
It's just the constant. Nothing can be just sacred for a moment. Everything has to be politicized. I know the other side does it too, but I did find this tweet. So this is from Tom Bevan of Real Clear Politics, tweeted out last night. There was simply no room in the New York Times today for a story on Molly Tibbetts, and then he tweets out the print edition of the Thursday paper. Not a single story. I mean, it's just very disturbing. This is someone who had been missing for 3 or 4 weeks. Everyone was following the case. It's just the extra sting that this happened to a girl who was jogging in her hometown by someone who was not supposed to be in the country in the first place deserves us to pause and reflect. But we're not going to get that from the left, I guess.
Here's another case that you won't hear about in the New York Times and the Chicago Press Corps as well, generally speaking. We reported it, one of the papers that I started, Will County Gazette, one of my fake newspapers, according to the real press in Chicago that gives you the straight dope. Doesn't pull any punches. Not this Chicago Press Corps.
Is there any member of the Chicago Press Corps or statewide, any outlet that has not trashed you or your fake newspapers? I'm just trying to think.
No.
Zero. Okay.
Yeah. Miguel Luna. You heard about this story? Maybe if you're in Will County. Illegal Mexican immigrant, convicted rapist Miguel Luna was arrested 36 times for minor traffic offenses between 2001 and 2016, according to Will County Sheriff's and Circuit Court records. One arrest in Rockdale, May 21, 2016, for a suspended license occurred the same day he raped a woman along the I&M Canal Trail. One of 3 rapes he confessed to committing in 2015 and 2016. Will County Judge David Carlson sentenced Luna on Monday to 80 years in prison. Now, county officials are asking why Luna was here in the first place, since ICE issued a deportation order for Luna back in March of 2012. Well, I mean, it took 14 years for the Nazi in New York. We're only 6 years in.
Yeah, they've got the clock's still running.
Another 8
time.
years.
Plenty of time.
Oh yeah, and in the meantime, he raped 3 women. But is this part of our immigration system problem or no? Or the real problem with our immigration system is the effort, sometimes ham-handed, sometimes unfortunate, but you have to deal with the reality on the ground of border security, trying to identify and vet people who are attempting to illegally come into this country and not going through a proper port of entry if they're seeking political asylum. Is that the real problem? Or are people who are otherwise, people are law-abiding, or even, as I've said many times, illegal immigrants here who are otherwise law-abiding, being preyed upon by violent criminals in this country illegally who we refuse to deport even when we start to process them for deportation? And the political ruling class at the federal level, at the state level, has all kinds of excuses.
Right. And you've said, and this is not about painting with a broad brush all of the people who are here illegally, who are law-abiding except for their presence here illegally. But otherwise, hardworking people, this is not representative of the population at large. But it is still just, kind of disgustingly symptomatic of our unwillingness to look at this problem and, as you said, vet people and get rid of people who have committed violent crimes.
Dana Lash had a good tweet about this Molly Tibbetts thing and Pocahontas' response. A family separation policy, Senator Warren? Molly Tibbetts is permanently separated from her family. I mean, there is a certain level of hatred you have to understand the political class has for you. When they can say in the face of the murder of your daughter, discovered 48 hours prior, yeah, but that's too bad, but here's what I'm really concerned about. The left is very cavalier with the lives of others. You understand? Chris in Woodstock, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. One thing I can't understand, and it really irks me, is the fact that these liberals go off and say, well, Americans kill people every day, too, or white people kill people every day, too. Well, that makes absolutely no sense. That's like saying, then why don't we let everyone out of prison? Because robberies, rapes, and murders happen every day anyhow, and some of those people that you're going to let out are going to turn over a new leaf and be good. Yeah. So why don't we just let everybody out? Yeah. I mean, their argument absolutely makes no sense to me.
Thanks for the call, Chris. Well, they're not making an argument. They're bigot baiting. Bigot baiting and solidarity and marginality, a great Rusty Reno piece from the campaign, actually, that sticks with me because he properly sussed it out. Those are the two prongs of the left's communication strategy and, frankly, policymaking. Bigot baiting, solidarity, and marginality. So their whole point here is to cobble together a political coalition based on creating perceived marginality, creating perceived bigotry to generate solidarity for the purposes of elections and consolidating command over your lives. I mean, that's the point. So, of course, we could give the qualifier every time we talk about this issue, which is a fact. It's a very small percentage of people here illegally who commit violent crimes. Small percentage of a big number is a big problem. And it would not matter to them. It wouldn't get you any further down the road in an intelligent discussion because all they can do, all they have to offer is bigot baiting and the effort to create a marginality for the purposes of political solidarity.
I think, too, that there is consistency in that I'm just as outraged over the death of Molly Tibbetts as I am about innocent life lost in the city of Chicago. Like I wrote last week about DeMarco Kennedy, who in 2016 was sitting at his table paying bills while his wife and children were in the living room waiting for a movie night. A stray bullet came through the window behind him. He was shot and killed and died right there on his living room floor holding his wife's hand. Or the woman last weekend who was 80 years old, shot in her bed while she was asleep. 5 hours before that, a woman sitting on her couch watching TV in West Englewood, bullet flies through her front door, tears her abdomen, kills her. So it's the loss of innocent life, the cavalier attitude toward life. I know that Molly Tibbetts, and because it was an illegal immigrant who is accused in her murder, has an extra sting, but that doesn't mean that there is a lack of outrage for all innocent life like hers that is lost.
Right. When we talk about Chicago violence, do we not talk about the murder clearance rate? Do we not talk about holding people responsible for acts of violence? Do we not talk about what the Cook County State's Attorney's Office is doing to prosecute and what judges are doing to properly sentence violent criminals? This is about violent criminals. I don't care what your race is. I don't care where your country of origin is. This is about eliminating, to the best we can, identified predators from the civilian population.
Yes.
Period. Tom in Deer Park.
Good morning. When I heard Senator Warren's comments and how she pivoted
off the murder to talk about mothers and babies. I know it's not an original thought, but I just couldn't help but think, here's one of the leaders of the Democrat Party, very possibly the Democrat nominee in 2020, talking about mothers and babies with a party platform that at one time was abortion safe, legal, and rare, to now abortion. Let's celebrate it.
Yes.
Let's wear T-shirts about it, and let's all have one. How did this happen so fast, and who is she the spokesperson for? Mothers and babies? You've got to be kidding me.
It's mamas and babies. I just want to be clear.
Thanks for the call, Tom. I'm going to have to report you to Oprah. I'm sorry.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Your weather forecast today, beautiful with sunshine, high of 80 degrees. Enjoy it because tomorrow, cloudy and breezy. It's going to drop to only a high of 71 degrees. Let's get a check of the roads with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Kristen. Thanks, Dan. Good morning. On the 8 ends inbound, traffic's getting just a little bit congested approaching the junction, and prepare to reduce speeds on the spur eastbound with the ongoing construction. Westbound traffic's very light. Kennedy inbound, tight Cumberland to Central. 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 23. Inbound Eisenhower delays start at Wolf Road. 37 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound 30. Out Stevenson delays are from First Avenue to Kedzie. It is 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 34. Inbound Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 still okay. Bishop Ford, 23 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. The northbound Tri-State has slow traffic in pockets between the Reagan Tollway and Lawrence. The other tollway still good, and Northwest Indiana's fine. I'm Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews and our Against the Current series, still featuring my sit-down with former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries from yours truly. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments, as well as Heart of the Matter, a series featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day. And don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Free property tax report on your home. See what the highest property taxes in the nation are doing to your home equity and value. And regional reports, updates for the first 6 months of 2018 on home sales and property tax by community. So you want to check that out. All the property tax, home sales info at defendhomeowners.com. Everything else at upstream-ideas.com.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago. And I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature. So we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Did you know, Amy, that McHugh Construction is the premier builder of landmark, one-of-a-kind structures in Chicago and across the Midwest, but they also perform on smaller projects?
Yes, Dan, I do. The Special Olympics Eternal Flame of Hope at Soldier Field, Gibson's Italia, Mad West Restaurant in the United Center, and the recently completed Ritz-Carlton lobby. In fact, McHugh has served public and private sector clients since 1897 on big and small projects, and are proud to have played a major part in improving Chicago's infrastructure and helping to redefine its iconic skyline. For information on how McHugh can play a part in your project, visit McHughConstruction.com.
Yeah, that Gibson's Italia is nice. That's McHughConstruction.com, MCHUGH Construction.com. McHugh Construction proudly supports the 100 Club of Chicago, and many McHugh employees have volunteered their time for the past decade. The 100 Club of Chicago provides financial support and scholarships to families of first responders who have lost their lives in the line of duty. For info on how you can help first responder families, visit 100clubchicago.org.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Krista McQuarrie in for Amy J this morning. We're talking about the Tibbetts case and, the justice system. Really good Mark Stein piece I encourage people to check out. Talking about how we put the full weight of the American justice system, bring it to bear against the George Papadopouloses, while Imran Awan gets a walk, doesn't take one, gets one. Obviously, this in the context of Molly Tibbetts' murder and this nagging problem of allowing people in this country who are violent criminals to stay, allowing people here illegally. He writes, this Mark Stein, this is what federal money, no object justice brings you. A Nazi gets half a decade shy of his 100th birthday in order to live long enough to have his deportation order enforced. Young itinerant Mexican murderers can break into a nation on orange alert, and all the seeing security state can tell you when they did so is to within 3 years. But George Papadopoulos, we can get him for not being cooperative enough with the Mueller investigation. This in the context of the resources devoted to many of these individuals that are associated with Trump and have committed financial crimes unrelated, but are trying, but the state is using to try and convert political crimes into real crimes against the president. Mike in Crown Point.
Morning. I said a point about I don't lay this at the feet of Democrats, this problem with immigration. I laid it at the feet of the Republicans who had, when President Trump came to office, they had the House, they had the Senate, they had the presidency. Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan couldn't get a majority vote on this. Republicans are the ones that defected on it. Every Republican that didn't support this, they should lay it at their feet.
Mike, I'd like to disagree with you, but I can't, so I won't. All right, coming up at 6:36, Trump gives Cohen a bad Yelp review, and more Lanny Davis, because I know you want to hear from him. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Sunrise in Chicago. It's getting later and later every day. 60 degrees. A knife attack in Paris this morning has left one person dead, 4 injured, and the suspect had been on a terror watch list for a few years. President Trump says he didn't know until later on about payments to women who say they had sexual affairs with him.
I knew later on, and they weren't taken out of campaign finance. That's a big thing. That's a much bigger thing. Did they come out of the campaign? They didn't come out of the campaign.
The president spoke with Fox News in an interview airing this morning after his longtime lawyer, Michael Cohen, pleaded guilty to fraud and federal election law violations. Civil and military authorities in Hawaii prepping for the arrival of the monster Hurricane Lane. Chuck Anthony's Director of Public Affairs at Joint Base Pearl Harbor says Navy ships are on the move.
The surface ships and submarines based at Pearl Harbor have put out to sea.
Authorities are preparing for high winds and potential flooding. Lane remains a Category 4 storm. The U.S. and China slapping 25% tariffs on another $16 billion worth of each other's products. The church where Molly Tibbetts worshipped is honoring her memory after she was found murdered in an Iowa cornfield after a weeks-long search. The illegal immigrant accused of killing the Iowa college student has been formally charged. A judge at a courthouse in Montezuma, Iowa, explained to Christian Rivera what he faces.
If found guilty of the charge of murder in the first degree, the maximum penalty will be imposed. The maximum penalty is life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Bond was set at $5 million. Highly unlikely that Rivera will be able to pay it, so he will remain behind bars with a hearing set for August 31st. One man is dead here in Chicago following a shooting this morning and a crash near the University of Chicago campus. The victim was stopped at a red light when another vehicle pulled up and someone inside opened fire. Formal charges are pending against a man whose 2 young sons died after they were pulled from the Kankakee River in northwest Indiana. Mayor Emanuel looking for a new Chicago Fire Department commissioner. This comes as current fire commissioner Jose Santiago is set to reach the mandatory retirement age of 63. And if you work for Disney this morning, you have another perk. Disney says they will now pay for all of its hourly employees to go to college. Through the Disney Aspire program, the company will cover all tuition costs up front, including application fees, books, and materials for its 80,000 workers. White Sox top the Twins 7-3. Cubs come alive in an 8-2 win over the Tigers at Comerica Park. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager lays out the conservative mindset.
My position and the position of every conservative I know is we don't care. You could be transgender, you could be cisgender, you could be brother gender, you could be anything you want. We only care about your values. We don't have a position on what you are. Conservatives have a position on what you stand for.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The power to save is in your hands. Snapshot from Progressive rewards your safe driving with discounts. Find out more at progressive.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Ryan Siebert, CEO of SG Home Builders and a customer of Signature Bank. Over the last 10 years, my business pivoted multiple times to adjust to the fluctuations in the Chicago real estate market. Signature Bank's partnership with us and their ability to adapt to changes has allowed us to become a leading custom home builder. Signature Bank is a relationship-based business bank right here in Chicago, providing services and advice that address our unique situation. And they serve as a trusted consultant on what works best for my business. Signature Bank helped us build SG Home Builders while we were busy building dream homes for our clients.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, Mueller, CPA.com.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound. It's heavy. Devon to Montrose. 22 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 5 at 19. Kennedy. 30 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 14 from Montrose. 10 at the Express. Outbound, it's 12 minutes to Montrose and 27 to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower delays are from Wolf to Harlem and Kedzie to the Burn Circle. It's 44 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound 32. Inbound Stevenson delays start at First Avenue. 45 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36. Inbound Orion, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. It's clear outbound. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 423. Northbound Tri-State, the delays are in pockets from the Reagan to at Lawrence. Eastbound Adams, Stillway stop and go from Lee to the Tri-State, which is crash to the right center lane. Traffic, service of unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, beautiful day ahead, sunshine and a high near 80. Clouds on the increase and a low of 64. Currently, sunshine and 60. With our next news update at 7. Continuous news coverage is at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Forget about Trump, Russia, or Mueller. How about just Paul Manafort? The justice system worked. Why can't we all applaud that? We'll talk about that when freedom turns at 5.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning, Kristen McCreary, the Chicago Tribune editorial board. And since campaign finance is the national discussion topic du jour, how about a little look at the local culture analysis, of course, done by one of the papers I started, or outlets I started online, ChicagoCityWire.com, because who else is going to do it, make this connection in Chicago? Can't expect the Combine to report on the Combine, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You're just fake news, but go ahead.
Okay. Fake news called from, State Board of Elections filings. I just made it up. Okay. As we term it, Meet Illinois' It Could Be Worse bipartisan campaign donor class. These are the Venn diagram of Ronner donors, and not just because they belong to the same wine club. and Ronner donors. Turns out that donors to Tiny Dancer and former Governor Bruce Ronner, 323 of them. 323.
That's quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a bit of overlap there between very distinct ideologies, right?
And it's what is it? What?
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to
the distinct ideologies. You threw me.
I know.
And it's of course all the big boys and girls. Jerry Reinsdorf, Morningstar founder Joseph Mansueto, Apple Vacation CEO. Apple Vacation CEO's giving Tiny Dancer $215,000. And you expect me to go on an Apple Vacation here? All right. Groupon founder Eric Lefkowski, the Crown family, Ken Griffin, others. Now, again, in the interest of full disclosure, the PAC that I run in my life as a private citizen outside of radio has received donations from some of these individuals, and I make no bones about it, and I make no apologies for it. That's not the issue. The issue is what it says about our culture and what it says about a donor class that sort of has low expectations for the city and state. This is how you get down to Tiny Dancer and your other choices for mayor. This is how you get down to former Governor Ronner and Spalding. there's a lot of talented people in the city and state, and for some reason they have no interest in holding themselves out for office. So we get a lot of sometimes rich people, not necessarily super talented. Rich and talent, rich and intelligence, not synonyms. I don't know how to break it to some people. The rich guy bias needs to be unlearned. Rich and good, rich and independent. Not synonyms. None of those things are synonyms with rich. None of those words. But it's just interesting to see this. Byron Trott, who was a big bundler for Barack Obama, former Treasury Secretary George W. Bush, Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson, who lives out Barrington Way. All of the names that you would know, or at least you would know when they are associated with their businesses or where they have found great success. 27 partners at Kirkland and Ellis report collective $946,000 in donations to Emanuel and Rauner, including its firm chairman, Jeffrey Hams of Glencoe. So I don't know. Is this something that's noteworthy, Kristen, or?
I mean, yes, but I think it's just a reminder that big-pocketed donors they're not donating based on policy, because I actually do think these two individuals have different policy objectives, Rahm versus Rauner.
Sanctuary city, sanctuary state, tax increases, nothing on property taxes, abortion on demand, financed by taxpayers.
Rauner vetoed a tax increase. He did come in with pro-growth agenda reforms that he hoped to get passed.
You know what happened on that tax increase.
The point is that money buys them access. And just yesterday, we got a news release from the governor's office talking about how the state sold $965 million in GO bonds.
Yeah.
Who do you suppose got a majority of that business? Some people on this list, you think? So it's just, to me, another indication that people are giving money to get access to win state and city business, not because they have a particular fondness for either of these individuals.
Well, I mean, so that's sort of the point, though, isn't it? That's sort of the problem, I would suggest. And I suggest it even to some who have donated to my PAC, because I'll suggest it right now, as I have privately. Kind of the low expectations you have, such that you're willing to finance the opposition. I mean, by the way, Bruce Rauner is on this list. He finances the opposition, too.
Yes, he has.
He finances people who then use his money against him. But a genius. So that to me says about everything you need to know about the Illinois political culture. I'm willing to finance my opposition so that I can properly virtue signal to the kind of amoral donor class that I'm a part of.
Have you looked at personal PACs donations lately to state legislative candidates?
All Democrats.
All Democrats, all in districts that Rauner is trying to get those Republicans reelected. So you have someone like Peter Breen, who I know he split from Rauner, but I'm sure Rauner would like to keep that a Republican seat. And now you have Terry Cosgrove of Personal PAC, with whom the governor partnered in signing that expansion of abortion bill, now trying to oust Republicans.
Genius.
It's
this is how this. But see, you don't understand the 25-dimensional chess that the establishment of Republicans have been playing for the last 50 years in the super minority. And with these come again, go again, big government Republicans. See, you have to do that to get the moderate vote, to get the independents. Rauner's minus 25 among moderates and minus 18 among independents to Spalding. See, it's working.
I know. I continue to be just gobsmacked at his signing of that bill. And I've been a defender of the governor's. I think he has he has protected taxpayers more than a Democratic governor would have. He blocked a bill last week. He vetoed a bill that was going to categorize all paramedics and EMTs as firefighters, so then they get pensions. I mean, that would be very, very costly to local governments. He vetoed it. So I appreciate his standing firm on some issues with taxpayers. But signing of HB 40, it is baffling. It's probably the dumbest policy and political move I've ever seen a politician make.
Well, that's a big statement in this state. And so where are we left? I guess I should go back to say about these people who are insulated from terrible public policy because of their success and the wealth that their success has generated. If you are truly interested in pension reform, if you're truly interested in rethinking and re-engineering our property tax system to, say, mirror Indiana's, if you're interested in expanding school choice in the city and elsewhere, if you're interested in addressing the endemic problems, financial, economic liberty problems in Illinois, then I find it to be a very difficult case to make out how you can support tools of the status quo, the Chicago Democrat power structure. Because, these individuals we're talking about who give tens, hundreds, millions of dollars to both sides, there is nothing any politician in Illinois can do to them. And most of them really are not buying access. They're not trying to get a contract. They're not trying to win bond work.
I think they are.
Most of them are not. Some of the big firm, there's some on this list that are. The big firms are, yes. When you're talking about some of the people, though, in the 100 millionaire stratosphere, the billionaire stratosphere, they're not looking for city business.
What are they doing then? You mingle in these crowds.
Yeah.
I do not.
I would suggest.
What do they want?
I would suggest that they are interested in being sort of a vanguard of the city and state. They are interested in big issues and policy issues like pension reform and property taxes, but I think they're doing it wrong when they hedge their bets with the established order. We don't have enough people with means who are courageous, frankly. I don't know how else to say it, who are willing to say, bring it. Tiny Dancer, Benedict Rauner, any Republican or Democrat, alderman, representative, whoever, bring it. Because I am focusing my resources and my energy on people who are serious about problem solving. And there's a lot of Republicans who need to be taken out in primaries and a lot of Democrats that need to be taken out in generals. We need a whole new crop of personnel that are adults that we don't have presently in Springfield or in the city council, and I'm going to focus my efforts on those people. That's not what is happening here. What's happening here is a hedge because they want to, have access so they can do stand-ups about donations for soccer fields or trails in the city, so they're sort of like seen as a civic philanthropist beyond politics, and they need the access to the mayor for that press conference, for example, or they just don't want to be ostracized from their social circles. They're the fellow board members at the Lyric Opera or the Art Institute or what have you. I think there's this is why I say it's cultural. I think there's a lot of cultural pressure for them to. It's okay for you to be who you are and support what you think, as long as you throw us some of it too. We still got to wet our beak, so you can't be all the way over to one side. Even if you are, you still got to fund some of our stuff too. That's what happens.
Yes, I agree with you. But looking at this list, there are a lot of people on this list who depend on, in some regard, state and city government for their own legacy,
Yes.
their businesses, their
Yes.
law firms, their children. Exelon relies heavily on the legislature to pass friendly legislation.
Yes.
Equity investors who are counting on the expansion of O'Hare to be able to line their own pockets. There are a lot of people who that's probably what. Why would you write Rauner a check anyway when he can write his own checks? It's to get something in return.
For some, yes, for some. But there are others that I think there's a bigger dynamic at play. And I just think that they, frankly, at this stage with where Illinois is, where Chicago is, it's time to push all your chips to one side of the table or the other, really. That would be my suggestion. I don't think this approach is working. And I tell you what, I think I've got a lot of evidence on my side. I don't care how rich anybody is. The manifest weight of the evidence is decidedly on my side. What's been done by the donor class in this city and state is not working.
But the riverfront looks so pretty, Dan,
I know, and
the
the planters.
The
planters.
The planters are gorgeous,
Lovely.
and I really appreciate Kevin Griffin, separating the bikers from the walkers down by your neck of the woods.
That project is scheduled for completion in 2057.
I know it's still not open. The flyways.
By the way, related story. I've done some surveying in the suburbs. Interesting. One thing that comes back is bipartisan, big numbers. People seem to reject the idea, less likely to vote for a candidate if they're financed by Mike Madigan. We'll see if that plays out. So Mike Madigan is from July 15th to August 15th has already poured in more than $1 million to support his toadies for state legislative office throughout suburban Cook and the Collar counties. You can get that at prairiestatewire.com if you want to look at your locale. So I don't know. I mean, maybe we're just trying to help people connect the dots, and maybe some people out there that are more hyper informed than their others in their social circles should do the same. See if you can help people connect to who they say they are and what they say they want to the reality on the ground, because there's a real disconnect in Illinois on that score. Bruce in Bloomingdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, I tune in for this sort of brilliant conversation. I really do.
Thank you.
This is about access and take my call. And maybe the thing that all these people got to donate money in order to get, quote, government business, maybe that's the source of the problem. Maybe government's doing just a little bit too much, to the point that everybody's got to, as you said, wet their beak. At this point, guys, the dots are the size of beach balls that weigh as much as a black hole. If you need any help connecting those dots, I'm pretty sure you need somebody following you around going in, out, in, out. Have a great day.
Thanks, Bruce. And, as the Institute for Justice says about the federal government, there's not too much money in politics. There's too much government for sale. That applies to Illinois.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Disney is helping its employees earn diplomas. Cuba is starting to get mobile access to the internet, and oil companies want help in the Gulf Coast. Those stories next.
I needed new blinds. I knew I could save a ton of money if I put them in myself, but I was nervous about measuring right and then installing them. That's why I went to Blinds.com. I'd heard their ads on the radio, how they're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. But I still had to install them. So I called in my design consultant, Carla. She talked me through it all, from picking the right blinds to installing them. Plus, the online design consultation was free. Samples were free. Shipping was free. My home looks perfect.
With over 20 years in business and over 20 million blinds sold, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Need some inspiration? Go to Blinds.com to see tons of customer photos. And right now, you save up to 35%, plus take an additional 5% off site-wide when you use promo code SHUTTERS. That's 35%, plus take an additional 5% off site-wide at Blinds.com. Blinds.com, promo code SHUTTERS. Rules and restrictions apply.
Disney is offering to pay full tuition for hourly workers who want to earn a college degree or finish a high school diploma. Starting this fall, Disney will pay upfront tuition starting with online classes. One of the world's least wired countries is getting a little more connected. Cubans with cell phones are starting to get mobile access to the internet. In a test of its network this week, Cuba made mobile internet available at no cost for one day. The oil industry wants the government to help protect some of its facilities on the Texas Gulf Coast against the effects of global warming. One proposal involves building flood barriers to shield refineries and chemical plants. Many Republicans support the idea. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Known best for being better, Permaseal.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-324-4522. 800-324-4522. Don't wait. Call now. 800-324-4522. 800-324-4522.
Your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. It happens every day. You can recover. Discover hope and help.
Never give up on yourself.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
President Trump says it wasn't a crime. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The president tells Fox hush money paid to silence stories about claims of affairs did not break campaign finance violations. His former attorney, Michael Cohen, pleaded guilty of those violations this week. More on that Fox interview from Rachel Sutherland in D.C.
Chris, President Trump is distancing himself from his former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, who was convicted on 8 counts of bank and tax fraud, telling Fox and Friends he didn't know him well. The president sidestepped when Fox's Ainsley Earhardt asked if he's considering pardoning Manafort.
I have great respect for what he's done in terms of what he's gone through.
Asked whether Democrats would try to impeach him if they take back power. President Trump said, "I don't see how you can impeach someone who's done a great job," adding if he were impeached, the markets would crash and everybody would be very poor. Chris?
Rachel, thanks. President Trump has now approved an emergency declaration for Hawaii and federal coordination of relief efforts with Hurricane Lane fast approaching. New tariffs on Chinese goods entering the United States and American goods going the other way take effect today.
The U.S. Trade Representative's office signed off on a 25% import tariff on $16 billion worth of Chinese goods covering 279 product lines. It follows tariffs on $34 billion worth of Chinese products already in effect. The Trump administration is also considering a 25% tariff on another $200 billion in Chinese imports, more than twice the 10% rate initially considered. Beijing has retaliated already and says it will respond again with its own tariffs on U.S. products, including agriculture exported to China. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The Islamic State terrorist groups claim responsibility, but a knife attack in Trappes, France is not being treated as terrorism. The French Interior Minister says a man who killed his mother and sister and seriously injured a woman passing by had severe psychiatric problems. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sunshine and 60 degrees. It is 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police this morning are investigating after one man was killed in a shooting and crash near the University of Chicago campus. Police say the victim was stopped at a red light early this morning in the 1200 block of the Midway Plaisance when another vehicle pulled up and someone inside opened fire. Formal charges are pending against a man whose two young sons died after they were pulled from the Kankakee River in northwest Indiana. 4-year-old Levi Patillo and 2-year-old Evan Patillo died at a nearby hospital after fishermen recovered them from the water at the LaSalle Fish and Wildlife Area. Their father, Eric Patillo, was arrested following the incident. A school in south suburban Calumet City closed again today after mold recovery continued. School officials say the mold was detected Monday at Wentworth Junior High. The building shut down again yesterday, which was supposed to be the first day of classes. Nearby Woodrow Wilson Elementary and Wentworth Intermediate were closed temporarily, but they have reopened. A gang member guilty in the murder of a deadly shooting of Chicago teen Idea Pendleton in 2013.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Kenneth Williams, guilty of first-degree murder of Idea Pendleton.
Prosecutors say Kenneth Williams was the getaway driver after co-defendant Mikhail Ward shot and killed the teen at a Southside park. Legendary Chicago judge George Layton will be laid to rest again this fall. The Sun-Times says the local jurist and civil rights leader will be interred at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia, November 5th. Layton died in June at age 105. The World War II veteran was the first black judge appointed to the Illinois Appellate Court, and Cook County's main criminal courthouse is now named in his honor. White Sox topped the Twins 7-3. Cubs winners over the Tigers 8-2. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or visit madd.org. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
President Trump creating some Russia investigation news of his own this week when he...
You can talk about the weather, but the weather didn't pull the trigger.
If the Democrats get in, they're going to raise your taxes. You're going to have crime all over the place. You're going to have people pouring across the border.
We all still share the same objective of making sure that Iran doesn't get deliverable nuclear weapons.
What happens next?
That's a beauty.
Happens here. This is AM 560. The Answer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology actively invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you, the needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wesley had IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Coming after my house, my car. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
Wesley called Optima Tax Relief.
Oh, they were great people. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford summer sales event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 72 months plus $1,000 Ford credit bonus cash on a great lineup of Ford SUVs. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Not available on Expedition. For all offers, take new retail delivery from authorized Ford dealer stock by 8/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
.706. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic on the eastbound Adams Tollway I-90 is jammed. Elmhurst Road to the Tri-State. Good news is a crash there just cleared out of the way. All lanes have reopened. The northbound Tri-State has major delays. Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. Northbound Veterans of Oil is slow. 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Southbound 53 has roadwork delays. Northwest Highway to Higgins. Hayden's is 22 minutes either way between Lake Hook and Montrose. The spur now has delays in both directions. Kennedy inbound delays start at Canfield. 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 24 from Montrose, 18 on the Express. Outbound 23 minutes to Montrose and 43 to the airport. On Eisenhower jammed, Manheim to Circle. It's 50 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 42. Inbound Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's 42 from the Tri-State. Outbound 40 minutes to 355. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 21 minutes, I to the merge. Bishop, 436. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Full day of sunshine today with a high of 80. Clear early tonight, then clouds will increase with a low of 64. Tomorrow, breezy with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm during the day and again at night, high 71. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently in Chicago, 61. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by 1-800-4blindchicago.com. Call 773-447-5448 and get the sun out of your eyes.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Chicago Tribune editorial board member Kristen McQuarrie. And Kristen, Lanny Davis, Michael Cohen's representation of sorts, says Cohen will fix for food. Won't you open your heart?
Please. We got a GoFundMe page because he's destitute now. He needs some help.
Open your heart and your wallet.
Could I just take one opportunity to remind everyone that Michael Cohen has suffered a tragic and difficult experience with his family. He's without resources, and we've set up a website called michaelcohentruth.com that we're hoping that he will get some help from the American people so he can continue to tell the truth.
Yeah. Megyn Kelly's audience didn't seem like they were rushing to their smartphones to make a donation.
No, and actually when you type in that address in your browser, it pops up to a Trump page. So somebody already circumvented that. Michael Cohen. Yeah.
That's going to make Lanny Davis even more sad.
They're going to have to work harder. They should just do the GoFundMe. Just do the traditional route, put up your sob story and write your book, and then we'll see what happens.
Look, the real issue is, when is Lanny Davis going to admit that he's Saul Rosenberg from the Jerky Boys? You just heard Lanny Davis. Now here's Saul.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Yes, I bought glasses there. My name is Saul Rosenberg.
Yes?
And my eyes are going crazy.
Now, Lanny.
Could I just take one opportunity to...
I mean, it's pretty close.
It's darn close.
Saul.
Well, I'm asking you for help, and maybe I could sue for punitive damages that you're giving me.
Lanny.
Could I just take one opportunity to remind everyone that Michael Cohen has suffered a tragic and difficult...
Now, it's not just that they sound alike. They have the same rap.
They do.
Yeah.
Yes. Woody Allen will play them in the film version.
Oh, boy. President Trump not giving his former fixer, Michael Cohen, a very good Yelp review. If anyone is looking for a good lawyer, I would strongly suggest that you don't retain the services of Michael Cohen. Perhaps Lanny Davis has not yet touched President Trump's heart, but maybe he's touched our colleague Mike Gallagher's heart. Mike Gallagher, host of the Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays 9 to 11 right after this show on these airwaves. Mike, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Are you a donor yet?
Dan, Kristen, I love it. I love the Saul comparison. That's classic. You know, there's some little-known facts about the Lanny Davis chapter and the Michael Cohen GoFundMe page. For example, Cohen recently unloaded a couple of New York City Upper East Side properties to the tune of about $9 million. So this guy is not exactly, you can't live on
$9 million in New York.
No, you're right. It's a very expensive city, and legal bills are expensive. I mean, really, the specter of Lanny Davis going on television and making all the rounds saying, basically, line my pockets because I'm the lawyer. You got to please donate to the GoFundMe page so that I can get richer. Really took this thing to a whole new level. When you got Megyn Kelly's audience turning on you, you probably realize you're barking up the wrong tree. And as Kristen pointed out, he didn't even secure the domain name before he started promoting it on television, and somebody snatched it up. And you go to a Donald Trump rally page. It's kind of hysterical. The whole thing takes on it's like an episode of something on Lifetime or something. I've never seen anything like it.
Mike, it sounds like you're questioning the integrity of Michael Cohen and Lanny Davis, and I got to push back on that because Lanny Davis said yesterday. He said yesterday Michael Cohen would take no pardon from President Trump. Not that he has that choice. He doesn't have a choice, even if Trump wanted a pardon, which he doesn't. But he is not going to take a pardon. He would publicly repudiate a pardon because he has too much integrity to take a pardon from somebody who has devalued the presidency.
Says the lawyer who hasn't tried a case in years. Remember, Lanny Davis, he's a Clinton henchman. The real comedy here is that Michael Cohen very shrewdly reached out to somebody who would like to exact Hillary's revenge, and that's what Lanny Davis represents. He doesn't prosecute right now. He doesn't take trials. He's in this to try to avenge Hillary's loss, and that's what much of this is about. But guys, make no mistake about it. It was a tough week for the president. The president resorting to gallows humor on Twitter, as you said. It was pretty funny when he said, if you're looking for the services of a good lawyer, this isn't your guy. But we've been here before. I mean, we've all been here before. The American people made a decision after the Access Hollywood tape. All right, he says crude things. This is an unconventional guy. He's a bull in a china shop. Is America going to be better off under Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton? So we're back to the same place, only now he's actually the president. And now people have to decide, okay, am I better off with the tax cuts? Am I better off with a roaring economy? Am I better off with the focus on border security? Am I better off at, hey, a Nazi, literally a Nazi guard finally being deported under Donald Trump's watch? I've got the New York Daily News in front of me, an editorial this morning that says, thanks, Mr. President. And you have to know the New York Daily News, not unlike Chicago papers, hates Donald Trump. And yet they're saying, under Donald Trump's, tenure, finally this Nazi prison guard using ICE was deported to Germany, where they've been trying to deport him for many, many years. So those are the decisions people are going to have to make on November the 6th. And that's what this is all about. This is a referendum on the midterm election. And Democrats think they're fired up. They'll overplay their hand. They're going to pretend. Dick Durbin very graciously saying, now's not the time to talk impeachment. No, not yeah, right. Nice try, Dick. They've got impeachment on their minds. They've got an upending of the presidency on their minds, and we'll see if Republicans turn out in force on November the 6th and keep the country in the same direction we've been going in.
So, Mike, Dan and I were talking off air a little bit about just the financial crimes that these two associates of the president have been convicted and pled out to. Is there some concern that the issue now for Donald Trump is not going to be Russia collusion, but something in his tax-paying past? He does not strike me as someone who is crossing T's and dotting I's. And do you see him as being also vulnerable if they are combing through the financial records of his attorney, that Donald Trump himself will be vulnerable to something similar?
Kristen, he's vulnerable to everything. I mean, you're not crossing his T's and dotting his I's may be the understatement of the century. This was a real estate mogul who clearly associated himself with some pretty sleazy people, as real estate moguls in New York City or Chicago are wont to do. I mean, this sort of happens. Sure, he's vulnerable to everything. What we've seen this week, though, has nothing to do with the president's culpability here, because remember, many have said, and I like this phrase, Mueller's prosecution is a prosecution in search of a crime. The special counsel, all of this, these guys were ensnared in the Mueller prosecution looking for Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. And this doesn't come within a million miles of that. And everybody knows it. So, I mean, listen, you pay your taxes, you don't lie to the FBI, you do the right thing in life, and if you don't, you're going to pay the piper, especially if you've got a special counsel who's looking at your every move over the last 10, 20, 30 years. But at the end of the day, I think the American people are smart enough to recognize this still doesn't have anything to do with Russian collusion, which is the point of the special counsel to begin with.
I wanted to get your reaction to that girl in Iowa. Some girl in Iowa.
Yeah, that girl in Iowa.
Yeah.
You mean the girl that Fox News is obsessed with? Yeah, that girl.
Yeah, as MSNBC referred to Molly Tibbetts, some girl in Iowa that Fox was talking about. Elizabeth Warren yesterday saying that she extended her condolences to the family, but the real issue is the family separation policy at the border. That's the real immigration problem we have. It just the reaction to the left's inability to confront the problem of violent people here illegally, and that part of our immigration system that is obviously not functioning despite all the rhetoric from both parties over the years. And the president sort of doubling down yesterday, releasing this little 15-minute commercial, if you will, making that contrast. The Democrats want to abolish ICE. I want to abolish ISIS. There's your choice in November.
It's a great talking point. Nobody messages better than Donald Trump. Even for Elizabeth Warren, that was a shocking answer, and it's one that Republicans are going to use all the way through the midterm election. Democrats often on this issue of illegal immigration and even on the greatness of America can't get out of the way of themselves. Last week it was, Governor Cuomo of New York, who literally said, we're not going to make America great again because America was never really that great. I mean, and even his own audience booed him. And yet, often Democrats show how they really feel. Senator Warren did the same thing. She believes that separating children from their parents at the border, which is a very complicated issue. If your parents rob a bank, what are you going to do with the kids? If the parents break the law, what are you going to do with the kids? If the parents come across the border and maybe they're not even legally or actually the children of the adults who claim they're the children, what do you do with the kids? It's a tough issue. Everybody instinctively knows that, and yet Elizabeth Warren, and I was at the border when she was there. I saw her giving a press conference a month or so ago. I was along the Rio Grande broadcasting the show from there, and of course she was wringing her hands and very concerned about the separation of children. Well, as people have adequately put it, Molly Tibbetts was permanently separated from her family for eternity, and what happened there is our nation's shame. Two people that we know of shouldn't be dead today, Kate Steinle and Molly Tibbetts, and yet because of our lax border laws, this is what can happen. And face it, that when he came down the escalator and said he was going to run for president, this was the whole foundation of the Trump presidency. This was the whole reason the guy said he was going to run for president. Again, Americans know it. Let's just see on November the 6th if they're going to continue to give him the mandate that he needs to achieve the conservative agenda that he has set out upon, bull in a china shop and all. It's a funny thing, Dan and Kristen, about these never Trumpers. I was watching a Republican on Twitter the other day say, conservative supporters of Donald Trump have abandoned their conservative principles. I think that's just opposite. Never Trumpers have abandoned their conservative principles because without Donald Trump, we wouldn't have the conservative achievements and accomplishments of the last year and a half. They know that. They know we wouldn't have the federal judges who are rock solid conservatives. They know we wouldn't have tax cuts. They know we wouldn't have the capital of the embassy moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. All these things. There's a whole list, pages long of conservative legislative accomplishments. What do Never Trumpers say would happen to that list if it weren't for Donald Trump? So that's the quandary that many Americans find themselves in. For some of us, it isn't that tough.
And coming up right after Labor Day, Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing, to your point. He's Mike Gallagher, host of The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays right after ours, 9 a.m. on AM 560. Mike, thanks for joining us. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. I'm going to go off glamping now. Good
There
talking to you.
you
Take care.
go. And you joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Beep, beep. Your weather forecast. Beautiful with sunshine, high of 80 degrees today. Enjoy it because tomorrow the high is only going to be 71 degrees. Let's get a check of the roads with Jim Talamonte.
Kristen and Dan, it's heavy traffic on eastbound I-90, the Adams Tollway, glampers and all. Big jam from Elmhurst Road to the Tri-State after an earlier collision there. And the other tollways are heavy too. Tri-State northbound, stop and go Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway up to Lawrence. Reagan Tollway now jammed from Fox River to Farnsworth. Veterans Memorial delays are northbound from I-55 most of the way to North Avenue. Southbound 53 has construction delays from Brand to Higgins. Aiden's holding at 22 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose to Kennedy. 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Express lane save 5 minutes. Outbound 43 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower 50 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 42. Stevenson 58 minutes, 355 to the drive. The Ryan 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive has northbound delays from the Stevenson to Jackson. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
You know what I like about doing this show, Kristen?
What's that, Dan?
Our audience is very smart. This is a great reference from 708. Mueller is the American Beria. Pathetic. That's rarefied air when you can pull a Beria reference, he being Stalin's secret police honcho.
Wow.
That's very good.
Impressive.
Very good. That's a little bit over the top in terms of the comparison with Mueller, I will grant you. But to pull that kind of Soviet-era reference is impressive. So kudos to you, 708. The rapid evolution of technology and industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions that give manufacturers a competitive advantage from ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor. Industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, Illinois, are the industrial automation experts. For information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
Are customers passing you by because it's a major hassle to park in your lot? Convenient and safe parking may be one of the most overlooked aspects of your business. You've neglected your parking lot for way too many years. It's falling apart and could be scaring business away. Pavement Solutions can get your parking lot in shape. With proper care, you can extend the life of your current lot with Pavement Solutions' certified specialty blend product called Gem Seal Black Diamond Enduramax. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but the best seal coat product in the industry. It'll protect your lot from sub-zero temperatures to a scorching 110-degree sun and features an abrasive, non-slip coat for safety and durability. With Enduramax, your lot will have that brand new feel and look at a fraction of the price of a new lot. You and your customers will be safe, and your business will look great. For parking lot repairs to snow removal, go to fixmylots.org. That's fixmylots.org. And get a free estimate. Plus, learn about getting 5% off your next job from Pavement Solutions. On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
My husband's blood pressure has dropped 30 points. I've lost 8 pounds. He's lost about 20 pounds. His arthritis is gone. You guys have given me back my husband. I'd come home from work, and if he beat me home from work, he would be laying in the recliner, and I would feed him supper in his recliner and would be like really boring, pathetic old people watching TV while we ate dinner and then go to bed exhausted and wake up tired. I came home from work last night, and he was mowing the lawn. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so amazing.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson.
And Joe Walsh from MyPillow.
You're hearing from both of us because we've got 2 great MyPillow deals to tell you about.
And of course, because I'm the resident expert on the great night's sleep you're going to get with a MyPillow.
Is that why you sleep till noon every day, Joe?
Nice shot. Part of the reason. The other is because I'm not on the radio until the afternoon.
Lucky you. Well, I've got to get up early to do Chicago's Morning Answer, and I'm not sure I would get proper rest without MyPillow.
Hey, and I sleep even better with MyPillow because I added the MyPillow mattress topper to my bed. You got to get one. And when you buy the MyPillow mattress topper and use promo code Joe, you'll score 2 standard MyPillows for free.
For me, I love the MyPillow Go Anywhere pillow. So convenient. I suggest you use the promo code Amy. Buy 1 MyPillow and you'll get a second MyPillow plus 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows free.
Hey, either way, you're going to sleep like you never have before with MyPillow.
But definitely use promo code Amy.
Nah. Promo code Joe is the way better choice.
MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Promo code Joe is way better, way better.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 35-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Without further ado.
Hi, I'm Patty Fritz, Precision Payroll's first employee. Yes, I'm real. I love working with my team and our clients and providing the best service and support. Hard to believe it's been that long. But when you love what you do, it's great. And I do love what we do at Precision Payroll. I didn't start for myself either.
That's right, Patty. I was there day one, and I'm still working with you today. Hi, I'm Jack Bishop, owner of Priority Logistics in Elk Grove and Precision Payroll's first client. Yes, I'm real too. Precision Payroll has served us exceptionally for 35 years. We've grown together over the years, and I look forward to many more to come.
Jack and Patty, thank you both for making Precision Payroll of America a great company to do business with. To join our growing ranks of clients, visit us at precisionpayroll.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Krista McQuarrie from the Tribune in for Amy J this morning. We're talking to Mike Gallagher about all things Laney Davis, Michael Cohen, Paul Manafort, impeachment related. Harry in Hawthorne Woods, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. Hold on. I got to turn you up a little bit here. I don't know what the deal is there. I'm sorry. I wanted to ask the question, why doesn't Trump at this point fire Mueller and eliminate the political havoc that Mueller is creating? I mean, you could say that, it would create more of a political problem for him.
Yeah.
But I got to believe at this point Mueller's not going to stop until he prosecutes somebody that's going to make something up about Trump that they could find a way to make it stick.
Yeah, thanks for the call here. I mean, I agree with you with respect to Mueller's not going to stop until he gets to something that he thinks is impeachable or would demand articles of impeachment. I think that's right. But I think still at this stage, until you have Richard Burr, Senate Intel chairman, and a majority, if not unanimity, among Republicans on the Hill about Mueller, the political cost is way too high, particularly 75 days before a midterm election. So that's why I think he doesn't do it. But we'll hear from the president on these matters at 7:37. He sat down with Fox and Friends this morning, and we'll have the highlights after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Sunshine and 61 degrees at 7:30. President Trump is distancing himself from his former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen. Pleaded guilty Tuesday to charges of fraud, tax evasion, and perhaps campaign finance violations, including charges related to hush money payments. The president says there are others, including President Obama, who had questionable campaign finances.
He had a massive campaign violation, but he had a different attorney general, and they viewed it a lot differently.
In an interview with Fox News, the president was also asked about the possibility of pardoning Paul Manafort. The president saying he has the greatest respect for Manafort and described the charges against him as what every lobbyist in Washington probably does. Florida Governor Rick Scott disputing U.S. Senator Bill Nelson's assertion that the state's election systems have been hacked by the Russians. In a letter sent to local county supervisors yesterday, he did not mention Nelson by name, but did mention unsubstantiated claims. The Republican governor, of course, is challenging the Democrat Nelson's bid for re-election. Hurricane Lane remains a powerful Category 4 storm as it approaches the Hawaiian Islands. Ohio State football coach Urban Meyer suspended 3 games for not reporting abuse allegations. University trustees met yesterday to decide on a punishment for Meyer.
Suspensions are tough, but I fully accept them. I wish I could go back and make the different decisions, but I can't.
Meyer reportedly mishandled allegations that a former assistant coach was abusing his wife. Investigators found Meyer may have known of the allegations dating back to 2015. Dozens are sick after attending a convention in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Kent County Health Department's Brian Hartle says they're trying to figure out if it's a flu strain that's responsible for the illnesses. And there are concerns it could be one that is not in this year's vaccine.
The virus is always changing, right? And so we typically do surveillance, in the earlier part of the year for the strains that go into the vaccine because it's already in production for this year.
The thing about this sickness is that it covers roughly 25 states around the country and over 100 people who attended a conference for the National Rural Letter Carrier Association last week. One man is dead following a shooting and crash near the University of Chicago campus this early morning. Former mayor of Ford Heights is accused of stealing over $100,000 from the village. Charles Griffin was arrested yesterday on felony theft charges. Chicago Board of Education is voting on new policies that will make it tougher for students and workers to interact by way of social media and mobile phones. One of the measures would ban teachers from using their personal social media accounts to contact students. Chicago sports. White Sox beat the Twins 7-3. Cub-Bats came alive for an 8-2 win over the Tigers at Comerica Park. The news, a service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. Choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. That's compassion.com/radio. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I am a Trump supporter.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Now, I am a Trump supporter who will freely criticize the president when I think he's done wrong. And done wrong can be sending out a stupid tweet, raising taxes, or supporting amnesty. It can be anything. It's the issues to me. And when President Trump does something that does not advance those issues, I'll call him out on it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Now's the time to soak up that summer sun and spend time with friends and family. Instead of spending that valuable time on home projects, let Home Advisor take them off your plate. Whether you've been thinking about a big project like installing a new sprinkler system or a small project like just mowing the lawn, go to homeadvisor.com. Tell them what you need. In just seconds, you're going to be matched with the best pros in your area who can do the work and do it right. You can read customer reviews of the pros, check their availability, even book appointments online for a time that works best for you. And with Home Advisor's Project Cost Guide, you can check what others paid for similar jobs in your area so you know you're getting a fair price. No matter what home project you've been thinking about, installing a new AC unit, new windows, maybe a big job like a new roof, Home Advisor makes it easy to find and hire the best pros in your area. Find great pros now to handle the job this summer so you can kick back and relax. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app to get started on your next project. That's homeadvisor.com, homeadvisor.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delay started Foster, 22 minutes. Like Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. Spur has delays. Kennedy at 40 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, outbound 43. Eisenhower now an hour and 4 minutes, 390 to downtown. 45 minutes from Manheim, outbound 42 minutes to 390. Stevenson 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. Ryan 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State heavy 21 to Bradford. Northbound 115th, 31st, and from the Reagan to Lawrence. But Adams Tollway stop and go Elmhurst Road to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from Fox River to Farnsworth. Northbound Baton Rouge Memorial, I-55 most of the way to North Avenue and Lake to 290. Southbound 53 heavy Rand Higgins traffic service of unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, beautiful day ahead, sunshine and 80 degrees. Currently 61. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy J. this morning, Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board. And Kristen, does Fox and Friends, are they just permanently stationed on the White House lawn?
They are. And I've actually seen him tweet something at 4 or 5 in the morning where he can see them out on the lawn. And he'll tweet like, I think I'll stop by.
Yeah.
Puts on his suit,
sure,
walks out there, sits down for an interview, and that happened apparently 2 hours ago.
Location. That's the key for the media.
Key.
Smart. Yep. He sat down with Fox and Friends this morning, asked a number of questions. Ainsley, is that who did the interview?
I don't care.
I always get Ainsley and Steve Ducey confused. Anyway, she asked, well, if it wasn't a crime, why did Michael Cohen plead guilty to something that wasn't a crime regarding the campaign contributions, obviously?
If you're saying the payments, if they're not illegal, then why would he use that information for a plea deal?
Because he makes a better deal when he uses me, like everybody else. And one of the reasons I respect Paul Manafort so much is he went through that trial. You know, they make up stories. People make up stories. This whole thing about flipping, they call it. I know all about flipping. For 30, 40 years, I've been watching flippers. Everything's wonderful, and then they get 10 years in jail, and they flip on whoever the next highest one is, or as high as you can go. It almost ought to be outlawed. It's not fair, because if somebody's going to spend 5 years like Michael Cohen, or 10 years, or 15 years in jail because of a taxi cab industry, because he defrauded some bank. The last two were the tiny ones. Campaign violations are considered not a big deal, frankly. But if somebody defrauded a bank and he's going to get 10 years in jail or 20 years in jail, but if you can say something bad about Donald Trump and you'll go down to 2 years or 3 years, which is the deal he made, in all fairness to him, most people are going to do that.
I don't know about outlawing plea bargaining. I don't know about that. But does the president have a point that the Mueller investigative team, in this case, the Southern District prosecutors, same sort of ethos with respect to prosecutors. The point being that you're incentivized to embellish your story, even plead guilty to things that are not crimes, because it really doesn't make a difference in your sentencing. And what's the difference between pleading guilty to 6 felonies and 8, as long as you can help us get to that next rung on the ladder? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Yeah, so Michael Cohen is just, he is spiraling right now. He is under tremendous financial pressure. Well, they started a GoFundMe page for him because he suffered this tragedy.
That's right.
Which is ridiculous. But if you he has been borrowing against borrowing as it related to this medallion issue. And you can just see that he is, as we talked about earlier, they squeezed him until the juice came out. And I got to say, I would be a little concerned if I were Donald Trump. He initially got into the Trump circle, Michael Cohen we're talking about, through the foundation, which is still, the Trump Foundation is still under investigation by the New York Attorney General. And we don't know what sort of information he might have there. And this is also Trump's personal lawyer since the early 2000s. So
Elijah Cummings wants him to appear before a House committee. There's Lanny Davis made an overture yesterday when he wasn't begging for money from the American people for himself, and Michael Cohen made an overture that that Michael Cohen has things to say about pre-knowledge of hacking and collusion that Mueller might be interested in hearing. So the real estate business, Trump's financial dealings and disclosures over the years. When you have somebody that is in your inner circle like that who ostensibly betrays you, and that's what Trump is saying when he talks about the flippers.
Him, right.
Yeah, and not to mention what we already know to be true. There's potentially a lot of exposure. And remember, if Mueller can't get you on conspiring with the Russians to alter the outcome of the 2016 election or somehow impact it, no evidence there, then he could get you on a series of financial crimes enough so that the politicians on the Hill worried about their own careers would feel compelled to move to impeachment. Remember, I think about this with respect to Blagojevich's impeachment before his conviction here. The big thing was the sale of the Senate seat. Everybody understood it. He understood what he was doing, and it was slimy, right? But there were also sort of lesser included charges in his impeachment.
You mean before the state Senate?
Yes, like illegally expanding Medicaid.
Yes,
for example. But that's not sexy. That's not interesting. You're not going to You're not going to get popular support to remove him over that. You can't for the sale of Senate seat. And it seems to me if you can't get him on Russian collusion, which is the headline here, then Mueller and his team are looking for, and Cohen may be able to provide something salacious enough, easily understood, that would compel popular opinion against Trump. That's what they're looking for, and Michael Cohen and maybe Paul Manafort may be able to facilitate that.
Yeah, and I don't quite understand why the Cohen case was farmed out to the DA in New York. So
because it was outside of Mueller's scope on Russian collusion. There was nothing Russian collusion related to it.
But Manafort, there was nothing on Russian collusion, and that stayed within the Mueller circle.
Well, it's actually when you're talking about violations of registration requirements for foreign agents, Manafort's work with Yanukovych, the pro-Russian former dictator of Ukraine. So there was enough nexus there, I think, on Manafort.
So you think there's still, just because the New York DA's office is handling the case with Cohen, there's still cooperation, overlap, communication with the Mueller probe?
That's what Lanny Davis said yesterday. Lanny Davis talked about this evidence that Cohen allegedly has that he wants to share with Mueller or May.
Lanny, last night you said that your client Michael Cohen has evidence about a conspiracy to collude and corrupt the democracy system in the 2016 election, including computer crime hacking. When will your counsel speak with the special counsel Robert Mueller about this?
So I was a little bit careful in the way I phrased that. I said that he had matters that would be of interest to the special counsel relating to pre-knowledge of computer hacking by Donald Trump, which, if true, would constitute knowledge of a crime committed by a foreign government in hacking our computers, which was part of the indictment of 12 Russians that the special counsel has already published. So my observation is that he can speak to that, and beyond that, I can't go. It will have to.
You're saying
play
Michael
out
Cohen
with the special counsel.
knows?
And then he slithered off screen, did Lanny Davis. That was on CBS Morning News yesterday. It's such an interesting. Lanny Davis is, I guess, a PR flack, quasi-legal representative of Michael Cohen. He's suggesting that his client has evidence that would be of interest, evidence of collusion, pre-knowledge of hacking that would be of interest to Mueller, right? And then he says, if true, this is what it would constitute. So is it true or not true?
Well,
if you have evidence, then are we to believe the evidence you suggest your client has or not? It's remarkable to listen to these guys.
Right. He also says in a couple of those areas, like, my observation is, which, well, that's just Lanny Davis's observation.
And he won't go into any more detail than he has. I mean, it's just more kind of like Trump should be indicted. If he wasn't the president, he'd be jailed. And Michael Cohen is a paragon of integrity, and his family has had a tragedy befall them. And I mean,
even though his net worth is somewhere in the woods of $20 million to $100 million, Michael Cohen. But he needs a GoFundMe page because he's had this horrible tragedy occur.
Speaking of Clinton operatives, Mark Penn is a former one. He writes in The Hill about this topic. And I got to say, I mean, Dershowitz and Mark Penn don't always agree with them, but at least these guys seem to be setting forth a standard of evidence that must be cleared, and also standards with respect to issues that concern them, regardless of partisan affiliation. Mark Penn writing about the whole underlying question of whether or not the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels was criminal violation of campaign finance laws. He makes a couple of points. First, given the payment was in October, it would never have been reported before the election campaign, and so for all intents and purposes was immaterial as it relates to any effect on the campaign. Interesting point. What is clear in the plea deal is that in exchange for overall leniency on his massive tax evasion, Cohen is pleading guilty to these other charges as an attempt to give prosecutors what they want, which is a Trump connection. And just again, going back to the issue of the illegality or lack thereof with respect to the campaign finance issue and the Stormy Daniels payment. Was made and reimbursed by Trump. It's again a question of whether that was made for personal reasons, especially since they've been trying since 2011 to obtain agreement.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's a good point. 7 years before the election, or 5 years before the election, I should say. Just because it would be helpful to the campaign does not convert it to a campaign expenditure, writes Penn, who again was a top operative for Hillary Clinton when she ran for president in 2008. Think of a candidate with bad teeth who had dental work done to look better for the campaign. His campaign still could not pay for it because it's a personal expenditure. And he goes on to point out, now contrast this with the treatment of the millions of dollars paid to a Democrat law firm, which paid out money to Fusion GPS and British spy Christopher Steele without listing them on any campaign expenditure form, despite clear laws and regulations that the ultimate beneficiaries of the funds must be listed. This rule is even tightened recently, writes Penn. There's no question that hiring spies to do Oppo in Russia is a campaign expenditure, yet no prosecutorial raids have been sprung on the law firm Fusion GPS or Steele. The reason? It doesn't get Trump.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's a really good point, and I think it's a difficult one for Democrats to respond to with respect to the campaign finance violations on the other side. By the way, Lanny Davis on the Steele dossier that also had Michael Cohen in Prague in meetings with Russian actors. Untrue. Mm-hmm. So Lanny Davis is also calling the dossier a fraud while he's defending a convicted fraudster like Cohen.
I'm still having a hard time even accepting that that should have been reported, that the payments should have been reported as an in-kind contribution on his it wasn't a campaign expense. He can make the argument that John Edwards made, that he was protecting his family, that he wanted to avoid embarrassment. They have a timeline where they were trying to push her years ago to be quiet about it, and I bet there's others out there. So you can't say that the FEC rule is, if it was campaign related and it would not have otherwise been spent but for the campaign, then it's considered campaign related. I think you can make a case that it wasn't. And I know federal prosecutors say it was. And you have Michael Cohen pleading guilty to it. But it doesn't make sense to me. It's not a campaign expense.
I think you can make the case both ways. I really can. I think we don't know because we don't know exactly what Trump's role was and where he incurred in this whole process of orchestrating this payment. So I think you're right. I think a credible case can be made, as you describe. I think potentially a credible case could be made that it was a campaign expense. But the points that Mark Penn raises are really salient ones. Deborah in Arlington Heights, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I'm really surprised people cannot see through this tactic. As long as the Democrats put the focus on Trump and everything surrounding Trump, it's a diversionary tactic to take the focus off anything that would be wrong there. And I cannot believe that supposedly intelligent people cannot see through that.
All right. Thanks for the call, Deborah. Ed in Oak Brook.
I absolutely agree with your previous caller. It doesn't matter. You guys are quoting all of these laws and all of that good stuff, and it's all good stuff. But you know what? It doesn't matter. This is all red meat for the hating Trump crowd. But the fact of the matter is, Trump associated himself with a guy like this Cohen guy. I'm asking you, Dan, would you associate yourself with a creep like that? A guy who tapes your conversations even though you don't know it at the time. But this guy was dirty, and he just didn't turn dirty during the election. So Trump is guilty of associating with creeps like Cohen. And have a nice day.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thanks, Ed.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
There's a place where you can get custom metal products. If you manage a commercial kitchen, hotel, condo building, or food-grade manufacturing plant, then no matter the type of metal or size of the project, the skillfully trained fabrication team at Vans Industrial has you covered.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Custom metal fabrication is the backbone of my company. We fabricate stainless steel countertops, wall coverings, hoods, landscape planter boxes, industrial fan housings, and more. Vans Industrial uses all types of alloys like carbon steel, aluminum, brass, and polished stainless steel. And we have a laser cutting machine. Our laser can customize almost any project. Our team can design, fabricate, and install your project today.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. That's 833-VANS-IND. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Vans Industrial, customizing for you, the customer.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized, veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit mygvn.com or call 877-695-1179 or online at mygvn.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Special early season discounts if you act now. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com. The following is a paid political announcement.
We need strong borders to keep America safe. That's why President Trump is fighting to build the wall. But Senator Joe Donnelly's votes would have made us less safe. In Congress, Donnelly claimed he was, quote, 100% opposed to amnesty. But then he changed his position. In the Senate, Donnelly joined liberals like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and voted to give amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants, even illegal immigrants who had committed serious crimes, including domestic violence and child abuse. Donnelly told us he was against amnesty, but then he voted for amnesty. Call Senator Donnelly at 202-224-4814. Tell him to fight for full border security funding in S3109, Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Act 2019. Amnesty won't keep America safe. Fully securing our border will. Paid for by One Nation, www.onenationamerica.org.
Seems like summer just got started, but it's not too soon to start thinking about the fall, at least when it comes to your child's education. Registration for fall enrollment for grades 7 through 12 is happening now at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, providing young men and now women with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Since 1884, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake County region of southeast Wisconsin has been developing the minds and shaping the character of young men from around the country and around the world, many of whom have gone on to achieve great success. And now, that same opportunity is available for young women. They prepare cadets for success in life by instilling a solid work ethic, an understanding of the value of integrity and teamwork, and the ability to think critically, communicate well, and function in a diverse and ever-changing world. To learn more about fall enrollment or to schedule a visit, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can call Crumweedy. Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crumweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy, call Crumweedy. That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
President Trump says Michael Cohen's plea deal should almost be illegal. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The president tells Fox it's not fair for his former attorney to have gotten a better deal using him in his confession to prosecutors about hush money paid to cover up affairs. Cohen's attorney, though, says there is no reduced sentence deal. The Cohens agreed to serve 3 to 5 years. At the White House, here's Fox's John Decker.
In an interview with Fox and Friends, the president distancing himself from his former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, who just pleaded guilty to 8 federal charges, including campaign finance violations.
Well, he was a lawyer for me for one of many. They always say the lawyer, and then they like to add the fixer. Well, I don't know if there's a fixer.
Cohen, in his guilty plea, implicated the president in a campaign finance law violation, claiming that the president directed him to pay money to 2 women who claimed they had affairs with the president years before he became a presidential candidate. Chris?
And John, in that interview, President Trump also says stock markets would crash if he's impeached. Hurricane Lane is expected to pass just west of the Big Island of Hawaii tonight or early tomorrow.
We're really concerned about the surge and ice surf that might be created from the winds, pretty much mirroring our tsunami evacuation protocols if anything comes to that point.
That's Talmadge Magno with Hawaii County Civil Defense. That storm right now is a Category 4 with 145-mile-an-hour sustained winds. A vigil for Molly Tibbetts has been held at the University of Iowa. She went to school there. She was missing for a month before someone, police say, confessed to her murder and led them to the body.
Remember, this is a time that a country came together for one girl that loved everyone, one girl that loved everything, and wanted the best for everyone.
Molly's brother, Jake, there. The suspect's name is Christian Rivera. He's being held on $5 million bond. Law enforcement officials say that he is in the country illegally, but his defense lawyer says that's not true. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sunshine in Chicago, 61 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. One man is dead following a shooting and crash near the University of Chicago campus. Police tell us that a vehicle pulled up and fired inside that person's vehicle, the victim suffering multiple gunshot wounds. He did drive off, but then crashed his vehicle into a tree before being pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The former mayor of Ford Heights this morning is accused of stealing over $100,000 from the village. Charles Griffin was arrested yesterday on felony theft and misconduct charges. Authorities say he siphoned off more than $147,000 of taxpayer funds. A school in Calumet City is closed again today after mold was discovered this week. The mold was detected Monday at Wentworth Junior High. Bail denied for a man accused of killing a Chicago nursing student earlier this year. Trayvon Clark is charged with the murder of Carolyn McNichols in May. A former suburban Chicago banker has pleaded guilty to stealing more than $328,000 from 3 elderly customers. DuPage County State's Attorney's Office told the judge, Robert Miller, that Christine Lang had access to the customer bank accounts. The 48-year-old Lang is free on $250,000 bail. White Sox over the Twins 7-3. Cubs over the Tigers 8-2. And at 8:03, it's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Pat O'Neill.
From the Fox Business Network, the Fed's view on interest rates will be a topic among traders on Wall Street today. Minutes from the latest Fed meeting out yesterday show broad-based support for another rate hike next month if economic growth remains strong. But they also suggest any tightening will have to pause if U.S. trade tensions with partners continue to escalate. The U.S. and China went ahead today with their plans and slapped new tariffs on each other. A couple of auto recalls, Ford recalling the charging cords for about 50,000 plug-in hybrid and electric cars because they could cause fires. It involves some 2012 through 15 Focus Electrics and some 2013 through 15 Fusion Energy and C-Max Energy plug-in hybrids. And Fiat Chrysler recalling 200,000 minivans and SUVs to fix a brake problem that can cause longer stopping distances. It covers 2018 Dodge Journey, 2019 Jeep Cherokee, and 2018 and 19 Dodge Grand Caravan and Jeep Compass. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Pat O'Neill.
It's 8:04, a check of traffic and weather. weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder informs the left of the GOP's message.
The absence of any message on the Republican side is remarkable.
Are you kidding me? Well, the message is pro-business, lessening the burden on the American taxpayer, securing the borders, making sure we have Supreme Court justices that follow the Constitution. That's the message. What's your message?
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2018 EcoSport. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 60 months at $1,667 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 8/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
It's 8:06, and let's check your roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy inbound. It's a mess. Montrose to the Burn Circle. It is an hour and 7 minutes, so here to downtown. It's 58 minutes from Montrose, 47 of the Express. Outbound, 22 minutes to Montrose, 52 to O'Hare. Eden's 19 minutes, Lycook Junction. Outbound 34. The Spurs heavy both ways. Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes, 390 to downtown, 47 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it's 53 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 7 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to Merge, Bishop Ford, 30. Southbound Tri-State slow, 21 to Bradley. Northbound, 115th, 31st. And from the Reagan tollway to Lawrence, the other tollways are heavy. 53 has delays. Southbound Rand to Higgins. Northbound, the Adams tollway to Kirchhoff with crash. Traffic service of Applebee's. Back to school is a whole lot tastier when kids eat free at Applebee's. Monday through Thursday, now through August 30th. Get one kids meal free with each adult entree. Dine-in only, valid for kids 12 and under, ordering from the kids menu. Participating Applebee's locations only. Applebee's makes back to school taste better. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sunny day today, high 80. Clouds increase tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, breezy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 71. Then a shower or thunderstorm around at night, remaining humid, low 67. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Now 62 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J. This morning, Kristen McQuarrie from the Chicago Tribune editorial board, and we had Trump tweeting yesterday into the early morning hours about Michael Cohen, including not giving him a very good Angie's List review. If anyone is looking for a good lawyer, I would strongly suggest that you don't retain the services of Michael Cohen. Yeah, that's not surprising.
I think he's going to be quite busy with other things for a while. I don't think he's going to be providing very many legal services.
Well, he should use his law license while he still has it. You know, so I chop, and Lanny Davis was on the Megyn Kelly show basically saying he'll fix things for food.
Right. I already made my donation this morning to his GoFundMe page.
I'm sure after that
compelling case of his destitute. Yes.
Open your hearts, won't you? Lanny Davis should be doing telethons, really. Trump was on Fox and Friends this morning talking about Michael Cohen's guilty plea and taking the position that obviously his legal representation is taken, but so has Alan Dershowitz and Mark Levin and others, that there is no crime here with respect to the hush money payment. Interesting post, one of our listeners posted on my Facebook page about, remember the slush fund that was discovered that Congress had to pay out using taxpayer dollars, accusations of sexual harassment and other misconduct by members of Congress?
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's taxpayer dollars, so I guess it's okay, private dollars. Interesting point, the hypocrisy, not really so much a commentary on campaign finance law and the underlying argument here, but it is a great point on the hypocrisy. Trump was also asked about pardons. Of course, Michael Cohen has too much integrity to accept a pardon. None is being offered or forthcoming, I suspect. But on Manafort, Trump was a little bit more cagey.
Are you considering pardoning Paul Manafort?
I have great respect for what he's done in terms of what he's gone through. You know, he worked for Ronald Reagan for years. He worked for Bob Dole. He worked, I guess his firm worked for McCain. He worked for many, many people, many, many years. And I would say what he did, some of the charges they threw against him, every consultant, every lobbyist in Washington probably does. I didn't know Manafort well. He wasn't with the campaign long. They got him on things totally unrelated to the campaign. And by the way, they got Cohen on totally unrelated to the campaign. I'm not involved. I wasn't charged with anything. You know, people don't like to say that, but I wasn't charged. But when you look at the corruption on the other side, and they refuse to look at anything. When you don't look at Strzok, where he said basically we're going to take out the president, the insurance policy and everything else. You look at Lisa Page, the two lovers back and forth with these horrible texts. You look at the kind of talk going on about, it's really subversion. And our Justice Department doesn't do anything about it. People would say, oh, but you appointed Jeff Sessions. I said, I did. But I really feel as long as this is going out, I don't have to do this, but I will stay uninvolved, and maybe that's the best thing to do.
Is that a no regarding the pardoning of Manafort? I didn't really get an answer there. The other thing is, you know, I mean, again, wordsmithing isn't Trump's forte, but for the President of the United States to be saying, I wasn't charged with anything, that's not a headline that you want. It's, you know, it's almost stripes-worthy, never convicted. For more on this topic, including A.G. Sessions, which Trump spoke about some more in that interview, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, contributing editor at National Review. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Good morning.
Good morning. So why don't we start with the underlying debate about whether or not the hush money does constitute a campaign contribution subject to campaign finance laws. You've, of course, I'm sure, been exposed to the arguments being made by not just the president, but Dershowitz and Levin. What say you to that topic?
Well, you know, I think that the confusion here, and it really is confusion, I've been trying to harp in on the argument that even assuming that it is a campaign violation, it's a very tough proof against Trump. It's not one that I would, as a prosecutor, approve based on the facts that we have now. But, you know, to confront the underlying question, is it or isn't it, I think the problem we have now is that, and I've spent a couple of hours looking into this between last night and this morning, it seems to me that the Justice Department and the Federal Election Commission are operating on two different sets of assumptions. And the reason that we have such debate is the Justice Department has taken the position in the past that it is a crime, and the FEC, particularly Mark's interview, who was it, with Bradley who had the election finance background? I can't remember exactly who it was, but right. So Mark, they take the position that it's a much more narrow. That the idea of in-kind contributions is much more narrow, almost to the point where it's like different in kind from what the Justice Department is saying. And I think that the other thing in the mix that muddies the waters is, even though the Justice Department has taken the position that this is a crime, the place where they famously did that was in the John Edwards prosecution.
Right, and he was
lost.
hung. Yeah, right, hung jury. Right.
Yeah. so they lost, and then I think that scared them off. But to the extent people are saying, they lost, therefore they were wrong, they're leaving out the inconvenience that they lost. But first of all, as you point out, it was a hung jury. And secondly, that means that the judge let the case go to the jury. A judge can't let a case go to the jury unless the judge decides that there's enough evidence for a rational jury to find a crime. Whether they do or not is a separate thing. So I think it's really one of these situations where you have a statute and a set of regulations that could be interpreted more than one way, and you have the federal agency that is, you would think, the most authoritative in interpreting it, saying no, and that would be the Federal Election Commission. And then you have the agency that's in charge with deciding what can be prosecuted, saying yes. And as a result, I'm not sure we're going to resolve that. And I'm more comfortable simply making the argument that given the high intent, the high intent standard here, and the facts that Trump wouldn't have had the campaign finance laws in the front of his mind, since he as the candidate he has to report, but he can spend whatever he wants to spend.
Right.
He had other reasons for wanting to keep this information suppressed besides the election, even though I think the election was clearly one of the reasons. And he's not a lawyer. So you deal with all of that, and then you remain mindful of the fact that they have to prove willfulness, which almost defies the old legal adage that ignorance of the law is no excuse. When a statute adopts a willfulness standard, you really have to prove that somebody was aware specifically that his conduct was in violation of the law. I don't see how Trump would ever be charged with this.
And when you say the Justice Department has said it was a crime, we're still just talking about the lack of reporting as an in-kind, right?
And the excessive.
And the excessive amount,
limits,
but
right.
not that it couldn't, not that the hush money itself, the payment was illegal, but just the lack of reporting as an in-kind and the amount.
Yeah, Kristen, I noticed that one of the things the left is much better at us than us is in framing the narrative. I guess because they have the media following them in kind. So I think Lanny Davis really tried to frame the way that we should understand this, and everybody has been sort of echoing that since then. So he comes out and says that this was what made this illegal was that it was a payment to influence the election. And what it leads people to believe is that the payment itself, that is the entering into a hush money arrangement, is illegal. And, they do this. A lot of these good government types do this sort of thing all the time. They are offended by the underlying conduct, but the sad fact for them is that the underlying conduct is not illegal. So they try to find some, regulation that may technically apply to it, and say they violated the regulation. But what they're really trying to do is criminalize the underlying conduct that they don't like, right? So here, the underlying conduct is this hush money payment to cover up these sexual liaisons, and try as they might, that simply isn't illegal. The non-disclosure arrangements are entered into all the time, sometimes for savory reasons, sometimes for good business reasons, sometimes for probably other reasons. But the fact is they're not illegal.
Right.
And for those who suggest that, that's what's going on here, what they tried to do was cover up a tawdry misconduct that Trump was involved in like 12 years ago. They're just wrong. It's not a crime.
You were former chief assistant U.S. attorney in Manhattan, so you're more than qualified to answer this hypothetical. If you were Rod Rosenstein, what would you be doing differently, if anything, at this point in terms of overseeing the Mueller investigation?
It's a hard question, Dan, because we don't know exactly what he is doing. And for all the noise out there about Mueller, and there's a lot of it, the things I keep coming back to that we can observe from the outside is that Mueller has never brought a case, even though he has brought cases against Russians involved in the hacking and in the troll farms and all that stuff. He has never in all this time brought a single case that remotely suggested that Trump was involved in collusion with Russia. And I think it's more important what he does than what people say about what he does.
And why?
And
yeah.
It has seemed to me for a long time that he's focused on, with respect to Trump, he's focused on obstruction, not collusion.
What about just?
And I don't think. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, what about just the financial crimes? To me, that seems to be like we might see a pivot here, that we're not really going to focus on Russia collusion. But if Trump has some dirty laundry regarding his own taxes, regarding his own loans, which this is not someone who is crossed T's and dotted I's, and this is something that Cohen might have evidence on or might be able to lead them on. Do you see this kind of pivoting into more of a financial problem for Trump if he did cut corners when it comes to his own finances and taxes?
But that's outside Mueller's scope.
But he's already
really
outside the scope.
Kristen, in answer to that question, what I keep coming back to on Mueller is this. Mueller had Cohen first, and he decided he was not useful to Cohen's investigation and transferred the case to the Southern District of New York. I don't think they're going after Trump's businesses, and I would be surprised, other than like penny ante stuff, I would be surprised if Cohen knew all that much. Remember, Trump used Cohen for the things he used him for, and this kind of stuff with Stormy Daniels and Miss McDougal, some savory stuff. But it doesn't look to me either like Cohen is much of a lawyer or that he would have been of much use to the Trump organization. And until I see something that connects him to something that's actually big and important, I'm going to assume that what we know now about Cohen is what we're going to know, and he's such a unreliable source of information. I mean, his statements have been contradictory and all over the lot. Notice that when he pled guilty, he didn't plead to a cooperation agreement. He pled to a straight-up guilty plea, which suggests to me that between Mueller giving his case to the Southern District and the Southern District not signing him up as a cooperator, I don't think they see him as much of a witness.
Cohen is Fredo. He's Fredo in this story.
Well, but he initially came into the Trump circle, though, also through the foundation. So, and that is still the New York IRS version, the state version, is now stepping up its case, and the Attorney General is still looking at that. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing, but I would be nervous if I were Trump.
Well,
yeah. Look, anytime they have somebody in their control, and you're talking about prosecutors, and some of them look like they're hell bent on making a case, especially New York is so political. I mean, I know Schneiderman is out of there, but it's one of the most politicized attorney general's offices in the country. So naturally, you'd have to be concerned. But you also have to remember that Trump swum like a shark in those waters for a very, very long time, and he still managed to get himself elected president. So
that's true.
Wanted to get your take on Michael Flynn's sentencing being pushed off again now till September. Is that a decision that was prompted by the Manafort convictions, or what do you think is going on there?
I don't think so, Dan. I think this is standard fare. As I said a couple of minutes ago, I really think for Mueller, the Trump case is now an obstruction case, not a collusion case. And if there is an obstruction, I want to underscore here, I'm not saying there is an obstruction case. I'm saying that's what Mueller's focused on, whether there is or there isn't.
Mm-hmm.
If there is one, Flynn is a witness, right? So the standard practice is when you have cooperators, you don't get them sentenced until their cooperation is finished, which includes any testimony. So if Mueller agreed to have Flynn sentenced at this point, that would be tantamount to saying his investigation is completed. And I don't think he's ready to say that. Now, it doesn't mean that, a report is imminent saying that Trump obstructed justice. But what it means is Mueller is not ready to wrap up. And if I were the prosecutor, I would not allow the cooperators on the thing I was investigating to be sentenced until I was satisfied that I was ready to write my report and wrap up.
He is Andy McCarthy, always helping us wade through the noise with respect to these sundry legal issues. Former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, contributing at National Review, must read at nationalreview.com on all things legalese related. Andy, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Join us on the turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Success happens with an affordable full-time IT staff from Turnkey IT. Just listen.
We're a contracting architecture firm with 50 employees in 2 states. We hosted our own email and file and print servers on a local area network, and the systems were always down more than they were up. Very frustrating. Turnkey IT migrated our email to Office 365 and simplified our network using additional cloud-based systems and cool advanced technologies. All our company's local data is backed up and replicated, security measures are in place to avoid dangerous threats online, and we have a really nice voice-over IP phone system. Remote users can make phone calls and appear like they're in the office when they're at a construction site. With reliable systems, our employees are more productive, and that's transformed the company's bottom line. Thank you, Turnkey IT.
Your business can have great success, too, with a full-time IT staff starting at $7.95 a month from Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs and get rid of the pain. You don't have to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido to make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of U-Store-It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of U-Store-It, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Live from Chicago, it's Saturday Night Live, The Experience. For the first time ever, get an inside look at the making of SNL. Over 500 artifacts direct from the show. Be a part of Wayne's World, Weekend Update, and so much more. Experience all it takes to put the show together. Now at the Museum of Broadcast Communications at 360 North State Street in Chicago. For tickets, visit museum.tv.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Chris McQuarrie from the Tribune in for Amy this morning. And, boy, this is important news from Golf Digest. How does alcohol affect your golf game? I mean, it stops the crying, I'll tell you that. I'm just speaking for myself. But here's the experiment that was conducted. 3 golfers, a low, mid, and high handicapper, hit 6 drives, 6 approach shots, and 6 putts, tracking the results of each performance. So they started doing the exercise sober, and then they saw how alcohol consumption affected their driving, their approach shots, and their putts as they consumed 2 drinks, then 4 drinks, then 8 drinks. The conclusion? In distance, second shot proximity, and putting, the performance was relatively steady. Driving accuracy, however, went way south following 4 drinks. So let that be a lesson to you purveyors of swing oil, swing lube, as we call it in the business.
My goodness.
No, that's what alcohol is.
Just beer, or what do you drink on the golf course? And do you drink while you play? I don't get it.
Yeah.
You carry it around, or do people deliver it to you? How does that work?
Well, I mean, I'm not out at some public track with golf cart girls. No, of course. You go to the halfway house or the clubhouse like a dignified gentleman, and you get your John Daly, your martini, your craft beer. But here's the thing. 4 drinks and your driving accuracy, which already is a problem for me, goes way south. So if you're not so worried about driving the ball or score, which I guess I shouldn't be anymore at my advancing age and increasing handicap, then, I mean, just
drink and enjoy yourself.
Love beer.
Yeah.
What's a John Daly? Did you say John Daly?
A John Daly. It's an Arnold Palmer with vodka.
I don't know what an Arnold Palmer is.
Oh, my goodness.
What? Mike, Scott, I mean...
don't. I'm sorry. I'm
lemonade,
just
iced tea?
Yeah, lemonade iced tea.
Oh, that's a non-alcoholic beer drink.
Right, and then the
Palmer,
John...
and you add the alcohol to it.
But I don't... But per John Daly, I don't believe this study. I mean, John Daly's driving actually has nothing to do with his smoking and drinking, number one.
No, it doesn't.
He gambles, he drinks, he smokes.
And he still hits at 300.
2 majors.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Also, he's 400 pounds. He's like a physical impossibility. So that's what I want to be. That's what I'm aspiring to be, and I think it'll improve my golf game. 400-pound, alcoholic, smoking, a gambling addict. That's, to me, the pathway to playing good golf.
And you're almost there in every category. So
I am.
Keep working at it.
Well, that's right, because I'm
pretty close.
I'm not a quitter.
That's right.
All right, coming up, Kristen has real children. I have imaginary children. I will instruct her on parenting her real children at 8:38. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Sunshine and 61 degrees. News from Wall Street this morning. First-time unemployment claims are down. Labor Department reports this morning that 210,000 Americans filed initial claims for jobless benefits. Economists were forecasting more than 215,000. Hawaii could see Hurricane Lane make landfall by today or tomorrow, marking the first major hurricane to make landfall in the state in 26 years. Category 4 storm is blasting winds right now at 130 miles an hour. President Trump tearing into Attorney General Jeff Sessions again. In a pre-recorded interview on Fox News this morning, the president said he put in an attorney general that never took control of the Justice Department. The president's been angry for more than a year since Sessions recused himself from the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election.
People would say, oh, but you appointed Jeff Sessions. I said, I did. But I really feel as long as this is going out, I don't have to do this, but I will stay uninvolved, and maybe that's the best thing to do.
Sessions stepped aside because he had contact with Russia's ambassador to the U.S. during the campaign and after the president was elected. The lawyer for the man accused of killing 20-year-old Iowa College student Molly Tibbetts is challenging claims that his client is an illegal immigrant, especially those made by President Trump. Alan Richards is asking the court to now close that trial to the media.
We're urging the court to prevent the cameras from coming in here, which possibly could show some sort of bias or prejudice, and get it into this political controversy.
Rivera faces first-degree murder charges. His bail set at $5 million. Word from Hoffman Estates this morning that Sears Holdings is closing 4 dozen more stores, including one in this state. Struggling retailer will close 46 stores, 33 Sears locations, 13 Kmarts. The company says all of those stores are losing money and they'll be shut down In November, the first going out of business sales begin 1 week from today. One man is dead following a shooting and crash near the University of Chicago campus. It happened early this morning at a red light in the 1200 block of Midway Plaisance. Former mayor of Fort Heights is accused of stealing over $100,000 from the village. Charles Griffin was arrested yesterday on felony theft and misconduct charges. Mayor Emanuel looking for a new Chicago Fire Department commissioner. This comes as the current fire commissioner, Jose Santiago, is set to reach the mandatory retirement age of 63. The mayor tried to find a way to keep Santiago on board, but city statutes ban firefighters of any rank from serving beyond retirement age. White Sox over the Twins 7-3. Cubs beat the Tigers 8-2. The news a service of Applebee's. Back to school is a whole lot tastier when kids eat free at Applebee's. Monday through Thursday, now through August 30th. Get one kids meal free with each adult entree, dine-in only, valid for kids 12 and under, ordering from the kids menu. Participating Applebee's locations only. Applebee's makes back to school taste better. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher calls out the never-Trumpers.
They are so crazed with their personal hatred of this man that they don't care what happens to the country. They don't care what happens in terms of policy. They don't care what happens in terms of anything that has been achieved in the nearly 2 years that Donald Trump's been president. They are unglued.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Progressive Insurance, comparing rates to help you save. Call or click today and find out how much Progressive could save you.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Founder and President Thomas Jefferson said, "My reading of history convinces me that most bad government results from too much government." That definitely rings true today, as well as in Jefferson's lifetime.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
8:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. 53 has heavy delays this morning. Southbound Rand Road Higgins due to the ongoing construction. Northbound from the Adams Toll to Kirchhoff, there's a crash blocking the right shoulder. Veterans Memorial southbound slow. Darby Trail Toll to 22nd. Northbound I-55 both to the way to North Avenue and Lake Street to 290. The Tri-State, it's slow southbound of Plain to Bradley. Northbound Southwest Highway to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. But Adams Tollway delays are from Elmhurst Road to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from 31 to Yackley. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 36. Spur heavy both ways. Kennedy, 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 40 from Montrose, 35 in the Express. Outbound, 22 minutes to Montrose, 50 to O'Hare. About Eisenhower, an hour and 8 minutes, 390 to downtown, 40 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it's 50 minutes to 390. Stevenson runs an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. A beautiful day ahead with sunshine and a high near 80. Currently in Chicago, 64 degrees. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. More info online at sjnma.org.
It's time for Dan Proft's Parenting Tips. Whoa! Dan Proft's Parenting
tips. Whoa, tell your kids to shut up and listen to him.
You're a child. Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning, Kristen McQuarrie, she also has real children like Amy does. I have fictional children. I'm not sure if I'm done having fictional children. I may still grow my family.
How old are your children?
They're 8 and 11. It's a fun age.
Yeah?
I started them out in 8 and 11 because I, want them to be interesting to me.
Right. You skipped through all of the dirty diapers and the having to read, little good night moon. You skipped through all that.
I don't know.
You just got right to the fun ages.
I got to start developing them. I got, I'm kind of pressed for time.
Yeah.
So I got to start turning them into intellectual assassins and future professional athletes right away.
Yeah.
I can't wait
gotta
6,
get
7
going.
years.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of telescoping all the parenting that you and Amy and others have done, because I'm an innovator. Here's the thing. Jordan Peterson was on Fox News show this week. He's become quite popular. His 12 Rules for Life is a bestseller. Here's his recommendation for parents, one of his rules for parents with respect to raising children. And we'll see if you agree, and then we'll apply it to a case study, because this is a seminar in Wilmette.
It's in honor of our guest for the hour, Dr. Jordan Peterson. Now, if you're one of the few people who still hasn't heard of Dr. Peterson, his meteoric rise to fame has brought him to the forefront of the world of psychology, with his message influencing millions of people around the world. In fact, Dr. Peterson has been described as the most influential public intellectual in the Western world right now.
I don't know why
His
we
book,
have to listen to
12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, has become the #1 bestseller on Amazon. For the next hour, Dr. Peterson will share his insights and answer questions from the audience. So let's get right to it. Dr.
Finally.
Peterson, thank you so much for joining us all here. We're really excited to see you. This may be quite an annoying question since you've written a book that talks about 12 rules for life. But just for those
give us
in
the
our
Cliff
audience
Notes,
who may not
Dan.
have heard your lectures or watched you on YouTube or read
why
the
do
book,
I
is there
put
a way
time
you can
codes on
capture
clips?
the essence
I
of your
don't know.
argument? Is there perhaps one rule above all others, or some core argument that you could use to explain
There's
what's
probably
going on?
two, I would say.
Okay.
One of the rules is do what is meaningful, not what is expedient. And that's sort of twinned with tell the truth, or at least don't lie.
Right.
And I'd like to concentrate mostly on the rule that describes the necessity of meaning. And I've spent a lot of time talking to my public audiences about this, as well as outlining it in the book. The theme of the book is, in some sense, somewhat pessimistic, because it outlines the reality that we're all ensconced in, let's say, and describes it as one that certainly has an element of tragedy. Life is difficult for people, and there's a lot of suffering in life, and it's often contaminated by malevolence, because we can take a bad situation for us and our families and our communities and certainly do everything we can to make it worse.
Yeah, so that's a good instruction for kids, although that's not the rule I was getting to. The rule I was getting to, and Jordan Peterson ultimately got to, was don't let your children do anything that would make you dislike them. Don't let your children do anything that would make you dislike them.
How, don't let them? I mean, they're going to just do stuff. You can't control everything they do.
Well, I don't know what the disciplinary regime is in your household. But, his point is to say, sort of establish the boundaries and the structure that children innately desire, such that they're less likely to color outside the lines to make you dislike them. The point is to say...
Yeah, please, get to the point.
Well, that's one of the points of structure. I mean, this is not novel. This is not some kind of great insight, but one of the points of structure. The other thing is, if they're doing something that makes you dislike them and you don't correct it, then they're going to grow up to be to do things that would make other people dislike them too. You're a good barometer for bad behavior, and that should be corrected when it's expressed, such that your children are liked, because being liked, particularly in the development ages, is the pathway to socialization, which turns out to be critically important to intellectual development and sort of being a civilized adult.
I only agree with half of that.
What's the which half?
I think
which half do you disagree with?
I think that you can, when you started to venture into color outside the lines, I think you can destroy some of your own kids' creativity and confidence and willingness to be different by constantly making them worry about being liked and following every norm and not questioning things and worrying all the time about what people think of them. I understand it as it relates to basic socialization and kindness, and I always, my kids rolled their eyes at me yesterday morning because there's a new kid at school, and I've been lecturing them about make sure you make this child feel welcome. Think of how you would feel if you were in that situation.
Did you ever show them the movie One Crazy Summer?
No.
John Cusack movie?
No.
Demi Moore?
No.
Next time they roll their eyes, first of all, let them watch that movie. And then the next time they roll their eyes or make a face at you, you slap them on the back. Because in that movie, One Crazy Summer, it proves up that if you slap somebody on the back when they roll your eyes or they're making a face, it freezes like that.
Oh, okay. I will do that.
This is the way to interdict bad behavior, which is what Jordan Peterson's talking about. Nobody likes an eye roller except me. Nobody likes somebody who makes faces except me.
They know that if they cross their eyes too long, they get stuck.
Right.
We've warned them about that. They know if they eat too much sugar, you get worms. They know if you eat the crust on your bread, it makes your hair grow longer. I mean, I could go on, but these are a lot of
the future scientists.
Let me help you out with some parenting tips.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Touche.
Yes.
I like to also refer to the professionals in the space. My colleagues, as it were, pediatricians. The American Academy of Pediatrics released an advisory this week. Imagine a drug that could enhance a child's creativity, you were speaking to, critical thinking and resilience. Imagine that this drug were simple to make, safe to take, and could be had for free. You know what the wonder drug is?
Read it again, the little thingy.
No.
What is it?
I won't.
Had for free. I'm trying to go backwards.
Imagine a drug that could enhance a child's creativity, critical thinking, and resilience. What is it?
A drug?
Mm-hmm.
A book?
Play.
Play.
Some parents you are. Play is not frivolous, the Academy's report, the American Academy of Pediatrics report declares. It nurtures children's ingenuity, cooperation, and problem-solving skills, all of which are critical for the 21st century workforce. Okay, well, it's not just about making them, worker bees, drones. But in the pediatrician's view, every life skill that's valued in adults can be built up with play. It's particularly important before babies turn 2 years old. Play is essential to healthy development, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. And that's consistent with a study that comes to us out of Illinois State, advising against too much helicopter parenting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would agree with that. It's very tempting to be a helicopter parent because you hear one bad story and you worry that someone's going to drive by and snatch your kid and drive off. And so there's a temptation to helicopter parent. I read something recently about parents are now joining their children at school at lunch. Can you imagine if your mother came and sat with you in the cafeteria at lunch? It's gotten so ridiculous.
Every kid, the beating you would take.
Oh, I know. My mom used to write on my napkin, like "Have a good day" or "I love you" or something. And I would get teased just about that. I mean, I can't imagine if she showed up.
It's absurd, and this is sort of what the Illinois State academics are getting at. Some of working with your children on their homework or a project for them, and checking on them when they're out with their friends, all that. Some of that's good parenting, but taking away all agency, taking away all independence is where you start to get developmental problems in children, which can lead to the rise of anxiety and depression later in life. Now, the flip side of that is if you're not a helicopter parent, then your kids are taken away from you by the state, which almost happened in Wilmette. For Corey Wyden, Wilmette had DCFS called on her for allowing her 8-year-old girl to walk the family dog around the block in plain sight of mom.
In Wilmette.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, police were called. A neighbor was concerned. And I think because police are mandated reporters and because the call was probably child neglect, They had to report it to DCFS. DCFS had to open a case on this woman, visit her, interview her. I mean, that is just beyond ridiculous.
See something, employ common sense before you say something. How
Yes.
about that? And also, bottom line, prop parenting tip, if I could just drill it down to one of Prof's rules, if I may borrow from the great Jordan Peterson, leave your kids alone.
How's it going with your 8 and 11-year-old?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Mike in New Lenox, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I think Dr. Peterson's book is just a secular knockoff of Proverbs.
Yeah, that's
Proverbs,
right.
where it says train your child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he won't depart from it. I got 2 boys that are close in age, and I wanted them to be loyal to each other. And when I would see them sort of like abandon one to go hang out with friends at the expense of the other, we came down hard on that. I didn't want them to be loyal to friends. I wanted them to be loyal to each other first, and that's we started to see that come to fruition in their lives. So, this is just stuff that's been out there for centuries and millennia.
Sure.
If we just would actually watch it.
Well, thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, I agree with that, but it's fallen out of favor in certain circles. So sort of it's worth kind of revisiting ancient wisdom, as it were. Also, too, I mean, so make sure they see One Crazy Summer so they don't grow up to be smart asses.
What is it rated? What is that rated?
It's PG.
Okay.
It's perfectly saccharine.
All right.
I mean, it's John Cusack.
It's true.
How edgy could it be?
But sometimes I've seen movies in the 80s now that I go back and watch, and I can't believe they were PG. Because we become so PC. See what I did there?
Oh, very nice. The other movie? Just watch one of the opening scenes from American Sniper when Dad has the talk, the wolf, sheepdog talk with the sons, right? And it's like, this family, the men are going to be sheepdogs. You're not a wolf. You don't prey on people. You're not sheep. You don't just follow people blindly. You're a sheepdog. You protect the less able to protect themselves from predators.
I read the book.
And that's, of
so
course,
I don't
what
remember
Chris
that.
Kyle did.
Right. I read the book. I didn't watch the movie. More intellectual.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're one of those people who every time somebody refers to a movie like that, you say, yeah, I thought
the book was...
the book was better than the movie.
I do that.
Yeah.
I do.
So
I mean, I've read almost every movie that derived from a book. I read the book first. And then why bother with the movie? Why cheapen my experience?
I think your kids will turn out to rival mine intellectually. Perry and Niles, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, you do have caller ID. If Wilmette is so damn dangerous, why don't they fix Wilmette instead of hassling this family? Come on.
Okay, thanks for the call, Perry and Niles.
Yeah, I mean, there were other cases that the Tribune story touched on where one woman had the police called on her because she left a child in a car momentarily while she walked her other child up to deposit some coins in a Salvation Army bucket. And just in the amount of time that she was gone, they called the police on her. So
one other thing, again, ancient wisdom for our previous caller from New Lenox here. Parent's not your friend, parent, and don't try to be cool. And pay attention to what's going on in the public policy area that negatively impacts how your child sees the world. For example, we're hell-bent to legalize drugs, legalize recreational marijuana here. New study out that suggests that marijuana, smoking, literally turns you into a dope. Smoking cannabis ages the brain by an average of 2.8 years.
I didn't think it was 2.8 years annually?
No.
Or just total?
This is compared to 4 years in schizophrenia patients, according to the largest study of its kind. The aging is defined as reduced blood flow through the organ. Excessive alcohol also ages the brain 0.6 of a year. So,
okay.
All right.
Thank you, Dan, for all the parenting advice. I really appreciate it. I look forward to meeting your children sometime and being able to experience all of the wisdom that you've passed along to them. Just,
see,
maybe we could go to a water park together or something.
Was that so hard to say, to provide that kind of deference?
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
You remember a simpler time when family fun was about having fun. It didn't include the kids glued to their tablets or smartphones. Well, real family fun is back at Gobert's Pumpkin Patch. For almost 70 years, Gobert's has been Chicagoland's family destination for fall fun.
This was the most fun day ever. My parents were there, my kids were there. There was a pumpkin patch, a maze, a haunted house, slides, a train, a fresh market, and there was so much more. I loved it.
It's a family tradition for us to visit Gobert's every October. The pumpkins are great, the attractions are fun, and the apple cider donuts are to die for.
Loved it. One price to get in, and almost all the activities were free. My kids had a blast.
Listen to the kids.
My mom loves the homemade caramel apples.
I have to say, the pumpkin cannon is cool.
They got a pumpkin-eating dinosaur. The live giraffe is really cool.
I love the jumping pillow and the Pumpkin Express train ride.
Gobert's Pumpkin Patch in Pingree Grove. Pick apples, explore the pumpkin patch, play games, ride the train. Gobert'sPumpkinPatch.com. Harvesting family memories.
Are you happy with what's looking back at you in the mirror? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we'd like to help you with that smile. Whether you're looking to fix 1 or 2 teeth or a whole smile makeover, we can take care of all your dental needs. We have a beautiful modern facility and a great staff. And most importantly, we love what we do. That's what sets us apart from other offices. Let's face it, a dental office is not everyone's favorite place. Whether you're 2 or 102, we make it fun and enjoyable. We perform all types of dentistry as well. Fillings, root canals, crowns, extractions, dentures, implants. We do most everything right in our office. And for you denture wearers, we have a full in-house denture lab and can perform repairs and relines while you wait. We can also talk about adding implants so your denture will snap into place or become screw retained. This is the closest option to natural teeth. We are conveniently located in Gurnee at the corner of Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. So make today the day you give us a call. 847-244-4000. That's 847-244-4000. Or visit us on the web at gurneedds.com. We look forward to seeing you, and remember, second opinions are always free. Excellence in dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
Wow, we've been doing a lot of roofs.
And we're ready to do yours. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson from Crumweedy. Okay, say it. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
Remember that when you need repair or when you need a new roof.
It's so important to choose your roofing company wisely.
Here's our pitch.
Installation. It's the ball game.
We follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. Most roofing companies don't do that.
When we give you a quote, we give you good, better, and best options. You decide.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're a third-generation family business. 65 years of doing great roofs.
We run the company on good, conservative values.
For any roofing problem or need, call your roofing guys, Crumweedy.
Do we have any special offers? Sure. Just ask. We'll take care of you.
Get all the info at myroofis.